Chapter 1685. When Yi Wanwan finished speaking, Lord Azura, Elder Lei He, Elder Gong, Ji Shiran, the onlookers, an ugly eyesore and a heavenly god. And this ugly eyesore confidently hid on the god, propping her chin in what she thought looked flirtatious. Everyone was dumbstruck, especially since the man she was flirting with using such crude tactics was the super great Satan that everyone in the independent state was terrified of and didn't dare to look straight at. This shock was simply, during everyone's flabbergasted state, Yi Wanwan winked at the man, her tone taking on the tone of a vagrant con woman. Gorgeous, I'm quite talented at fortune-telling. Do you want me to tell your fortune for you? Lord Azura glanced at the intoxicated girl, the corners of his lips imperceptibly twitching. When Yi Wanwan suddenly dashed to the VIP seats, everyone's gazes curiously followed her. When Elder Lei He admonished her, they thought Yi Wanwan wanted to provoke him and were marveling at Yi Wanwan's gutsiness and were prepared to watch a good show. When they saw this scene, though, nearly everyone was stupefied. Damn, what's going on? This ugly woman is hitting on Lord Azura? We never expected this. This woman isn't just gutsy. She probably wants to die, right? Shit, what's this ugly woman doing? She's dead. She's dead. As she actually called Lord Azura gorgeous? Though this lord's looks truly are. Shut your mouth. Yi Wanwan is acting recklessly because she's drunk, but do you also want to die? A fearful silence enveloped everyone as they watched this stunning scene, dumbstruck. Upon seeing a lack of response from the gorgeous man, Yi Wanwan's little hand started misbehaving and inappropriate grasped his bigger hand. SSS. Everyone gasped in shock. Lord Azura narrowed his eyes and stared at his hand in her grasp, but didn't pull away or look like he was about to erupt. Even his expression remained the same. The onlookers were scared witless, though. This was absolutely the calm before the storm. Under everyone's thunderstruck expressions, Lord Azura's low voice rang out. Oh, what fortune did you come up with? Near them, Ji Shiran cast down his eyes and flicked the tea leaves in his cup with the cup lid. A smile blossomed on Yi Wanwan's face after she touched his hand enough. Only then did she reply, It said that you, gorgeous, your life is lacking me. PFT, hack, 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 hack. Everyone choked. Li Xen nearly coughed out his lungs. Damn, I couldn't freaking tell. Classmate Yi Wanwan is not only good at martial arts, but also has ballsy guts. Li Hanfeng was also stupefied by this scene. He never expected his little junior sister to act so terrifying when she was drunk. Anxiousness overcame him. What should he do? This was awful. She could have provoked anyone else, but just had to provoke Lord Azura. Elder Gong finally couldn't sit back anymore. His disciple got into such great trouble, and he hastily stood up to apologize. After all, Lord Azura was an honored guest invited by an elder. Please graciously pardon this child for acting atrociously in her drunken state, Lord Azura. Chapter 1686. 1686. This matter could be major or minor. It would be fine if Lord Azura showed him this courtesy. Elder Gong was protectively speaking on his little disciple's behalf when Yi Wanwan hastily interjected, What do you mean acting atrociously? I'm telling the truth. Gorgeous really looks familiar. Plus, his life really does lack. Rebellious disciple, shut up. Elder Gong was livid. Did this brat want to die? Elder Lei He didn't expect the damn girl, Yi Wanwan, would court her own death. He gleefully commented in a schadenfreude manner, Elder Gong, is this how you teach your disciples? This is a true eye-opener for me. This girl actually dared to disrespect Lord Azura in public today. The entire mercenary academy couldn't save her, let alone mere Elder Gong. Leihi's mood brightened immensely, and he took the opportunity to say, Lord Azura, the academy has its rules. This girl acted presumptuously and caused trouble today, so she is no one to blame but herself. You can punish her however you wish. Our Scarlet Flames Academy absolutely won't shelter her. Elder Gong's expression shifted instantly. He wanted to say something, but couldn't find anything to refute Leihi. Poking the hornet's nest like that. Even the academy couldn't save her. Esteemed Lord Azura, my disciple was thoughtless and didn't mean to offend you. Please don't take it to heart. Elder Gong himself didn't know why he felt close to this girl ever since the first time he met her. His heart naturally ached when her life turned perilous after getting into severe trouble. Sweat soaked his body, and he anxiously pleaded on her behalf. However, before he finished speaking, a soft, gentle chuckle was heard from the man next to him. Ji Xiran set down the cup lid and turned to the girl with a light chuckle. Yi Wanwan's ears twitched, and she was instantly attracted by this gentle, tingling sound. When she saw the speaker carefully, she was obviously dazed. Ji Xiran's expression remained the same when he saw the little one's dazed expression. He said with a soft smile, "Do you only find Lord Azura familiar-looking?" Yi Wanwan was still in a daze. "What about me?" Ji Xiran continued. Yi Wanwan's eyes brightened, and she intently stared at the man's placid face, which soothed her emotions like she was transported to a tranquil paradise. She reflexively nodded and replied, familiar. Also familiar-looking, Lord Azura, Elder Leahy, Elder Gong." Everyone's expressions. No one noticed how Lord Azura's face chilled and darkened almost instantly. Ji Xiran cast his eyes down, and he chuckled again. There wasn't any displeasure on his face for being offended. He said to Leahy, "It was just a few words of jest after this student drank too much. No need to take it seriously." Ji Xiran's tone was relaxed, but his eyes exerted a pressure that didn't allow for any refutation. Elder Gong instantly relaxed when he saw Emperor Ji swooping in to save the day. He almost forgot that it was Emperor Ji who made the recommendation for this child, so they were friends naturally. Thank goodness. The coldly observing Nie Linglong shifted her gaze when she saw Ji Xiran helping Yi Wanwan out of her predicament. Ji Xiran acted so intimately with this woman and helped her again and again. Did he discover this woman's identity already? However, didn't Ji Xiran dislike worryless Nie and even went as far as breaking their engagement? And how could Leahy relent? He turned to Lord Azura at once, hoping he would act. Chapter 1687. 1687. Lord Azura. What I just said. The man aloofly glanced at Leahy before turning to the girl in front of him. He nonchalantly asked, "Oh, you only find me familiar-looking?" Elder Leahy. Leahy thought Lord Azura was going to unleash his wrath, but was confronted with this line instead. He instantly froze in astonishment. What did this mean? Lord Azura was publicly humiliated by this ugly girl, but didn't look like he was enraged at all. He even asked such a provocative question. Was there something going on between these two? Elder Leahy peered at Yi Wanwan's frightening face from the corner of his eyes and instantly dispelled his suspicion. Meanwhile, Yi Wanwan's head swiveled back toward Lord Azura with a swish. He seemingly wasn't just familiar-looking. Yi Wanwan stared at Lord Azura for half a day before a realization dawned on her. "Hey, gorgeous, aren't you my boyfriend?" Lord Azura, Ji Xiran, Elder Leahy, everyone, Elder Leahy, Elder Gong, and all the students beneath the stage all looked like they were watching a train wreck. Even if she's driven by lust and couldn't prevent herself from brazenly hitting on Lord Azura and Emperor Ji, she should at least take a look at herself in the mirror. Seriously, our eyes are about to go blind. Elder Gong was too ashamed to even apologize now. He wanted to purge his own sect himself. Thankfully, before Yi Wanwan could say anything more frightening, Li Hanfeng pounced on his junior sister to take her away. "Lord Azura, Emperor Ji, sorry. Little junior sister is drunk." Li Hanfeng frantically apologized and hastily dragged her away. After Li Hanfeng pulled her from the VIP seats, he wanted to make her rest below the stage, but Yi Wanwan climbed onto the stage again, taking him by surprise. Li Hanfeng frowned, but he wasn't in a position to say anything. What an eyesore. Go away. Yi Wanwan saw Meng Tian's corpse on the stage and kicked it off, eliciting many exclamations from the audience. Moments later, members of the Enforcement Council arrived. An elder of the Enforcement Council already heard about Yi Wanwan's actions in the martial competition. Her behavior was truly vile and unpardonable. Elder Enforcer, seize this fiend already, Leahy said as he immediately stood up upon seeing the elder. The elder from the Enforcement Council glanced at Leahy before turning to Yuanwan. Next to the elder enforcer's feet, Meng Tian's corpse still retained some warmth. Meng had fled from the stage earlier, but still hadn't recovered from her fright. What happened? The elder enforcer asked. Although the elder heard a brief account of the matter, he wasn't present himself, so he didn't know the whole story yet. This is what happened. Several high-ranking mercenaries went forward and reiterated the whole story to the elder enforcer. Understood. The elder enforcer nodded, glanced at the enforcers next to him, and indifferently ordered, "Take her away." The enforcers nodded and walked onto the stage, cautiously surrounding Yuanwan. Chapter 1688. How could they treat someone who easily killed an S-rank mercenary like Meng Tian carelessly? Yuanwan glanced at the enforcers. A bunch of hideous ogres. Roll back to whichever cave you came from, and don't dirty my eyes. Hideous ogres? Dirty your eyes. The enforcers looked at each other, bewildered. No matter how hideous we are, we're still better than you, all right? Just who is it that's hideous and dirtying people's eyes? Yuanwan, I advise you to surrender peacefully and don't resist futilely. An enforcer harshly shouted at Yuanwan while pointing at her. Yuanwan glanced at the man from the corner of her eyes. Scram. Pig-headed fool. Seize her. The enforcers instantly reached for Yuanwan. However, Yuanwan sent out a sidekick, and the lead enforcer was hit at once, his body falling off the stage without any surprises. The other enforcers also met a similar fate and were kicked off the stage before they realized what had happened. In the VIP seats, Ji Xiran continued to sip his tea languidly, as though he had become one with this world. Lord Azura also remained in his seat without any intention of leaving. Shocked gasps filled the venue again. The originally fiendish-looking Yi Wanwan was now sitting on the stage with her eyes closed. She fell asleep? Damn, Yi Wanwan sleeping? It looks like that. What kind of trick is this? What's Yi Wanwan trying to do? Everyone stared at Yi Wanwan with surprise. Normal logic couldn't be used to comprehend Yi Wanwan's behavior anymore. Below the stage, Meng saw Yi Wanwan sound asleep at the edge of the stage, and a cold glint flashed in her eyes. This was the perfect opportunity to eliminate Yi Wanwan. Meng swiftly leaped onto the stage and used her hand as a blade, ruthlessly slashing Yi Wanwan. The elder enforcer saw this, but didn't vocally stop it, sitting back and watching Meng's act of assault. As fast as lightning, two rocks shot out from the VIP seats in unintentional coordination, each accurately hitting one of Meng's legs. Meng shouted in agony and dropped to her knees on the floor with a plop. Ji Xiran and Lord Azura both looked at each other at the same time, an eerie chilliness surfacing in their eyes. One of the two rocks originated from Ji Xiran, while the other was from Lord Azura. Lord Azura is quite used to sticking his nose into other people's business, Ji Xiran said to Lord Azura with a dry smile. Lord Azura expressionlessly glanced at him. Emperor Ji seems to stick his nose into more irrelevant business. Lord Azura, Elder Lay, he turned to the man with a deep frown. Why did Lord Azura attack his disciple? Lay could understand it if it was Ji Xiran, since the man was friends with Elder Gong, and Yi Wanwan was Elder Gong's disciple, so it was justifiable. However, Leahy himself was the one who invited Lord Azura. Lord Azura's voice was as frigid as ice. Are you teaching me how to behave? Of course not, but Leahy's expression turned more confused. I merely disapprove of people taking advantage of others' inattention, the man replied aloofly. Chapter 1689. 1689. Disapprove of people taking advantage of others' inattention? Leahy stared at the expressionless man before him. It would be fine if these words were spoken by Ji Xiran. Everyone was aware of Emperor Ji's gentlemanly reputation in the independent state. However, Lord Azura was obviously a man who was one with the night, yet he spoke such honorable words. As one of the three core factions of prison, Azura was probably more atrocious than the Fearless Alliance. Of course, Leahy wasn't in a position to comment further, though, since Lord Azura was invited by him. Regardless of Yi Wanwan's current state, she had committed a crime that warranted her death, and a resolution would be reached when the headmaster arrived in a moment. Elder Gong turned to Ji Xiuran and said softly with a smile, "Emperor Ji, Yi Wanwan is truly outstanding. Why did you have her enroll at Scarlet Flames Academy instead of keeping her by your side? With Yi Wanwan's strength, she could have definitely become Emperor Ji's left or right-hand woman if she stayed by his side." Ji Xiuran smiled and said, "This is where she's supposed to be. As for why, Elder Gong will find out eventually." By this point, Ji Xiuran could confirm that Yi Wanwan was able to recover the majority of Worryless Nie's martial strength when she was drunk. However, she didn't display any of Worryless moves earlier, so Elder Gong was unable to recognize her, or else he wouldn't be so calm right now. Elder Gong was startled, puzzled by the meaning behind Ji Xiuran's words. "Quick, look!" A mercenary shouted before Elder Gong could pursue the matter. Everyone turned to the front. It was an elderly man whose hair and beard were as white as his robes, leading several elders toward the stage. That elderly man is the headmaster of Scarlet Flames Academy. Damn, that's Scarlet Flames headmaster. I've been a student for 3 years, but this is the first time I've seen the headmaster. The crowd became restless following the headmaster's appearance. Soon, the headmaster and elders arrived at the VIP seats. "Greetings, headmaster." Ji Xiuran greeted with a smile and cupped his fists at the headmaster. The headmaster nodded. "Long time no see, Emperor Ji." "Greetings, Headmaster Scarlet Flames." Lord Azura also stood up unhurriedly. "Oh my, Lord Azura has honored us with his presence. Apologies for not appearing earlier," the headmaster said to Lord Azura. "You're too polite, headmaster." Lord Azura responded aloofly. "Hello, headmaster." The silent Nye Linglong also stood up and greeted him. "Hello, Linglong. You were the most outstanding student at Scarlet Flames Academy, so we're very happy that you're able to visit us often," the headmaster said. Scarlet Flames Academy was one of the 3 great mercenary academies in the independent state, and the headmaster of Scarlet Flames was once a powerful and prominent figure as well. When Scarlet Flames Academy was able to control the independent state with a lift of a finger, the younger generation like Lord Azura, Ji Xiuran, and even their parents had yet to be born. The headmaster of Scarlet Flames spent the latter half of his life strengthening Scarlet Flames Academy, and the current mercenaries in the independent state had intimate relationships with the headmaster. A headmaster from independent states, 3 great academies naturally deserved everyone's respect, and people like Lord Azura and Ji Xiuran were no exception. Chapter 1690. 1690 Headmaster. Elder Leahy walked toward the headmaster and told him the whole story. The headmaster's expression shifted when Leahy was done. A student intentionally killed an S-rank mercenary? Although the rules of Scarlet Flame's martial competition stated that the match ended when a result was reached, accidents frequently occurred. However, purposely killing someone and accidentally killing someone were 2 entirely different concepts. Thousands of pairs of eyes witnessed Elder Gong's disciple intentionally killing Meng Tian. "Headmaster, I'm afraid Elder Gong is using official means to avenge private wrongs and purposely had his disciple attack lethally." Leahy looked at Elder Gong. Elder Gong returned his look and coldly said, "Leahy, I think it's you who purposely had your disciple die in my disciple's hands in order to frame me and my disciple. Are you bullshitting?" A chilly glint flickered in Leahy's eyes. "Didn't you start bullshitting first?" Elder Gong glanced at him. Before Leahy could respond, the headmaster swept his eyes over the 2 old men. Leahy and Elder Gong stopped talking. "Is the assailant the one on the stage?" The headmaster looked up at the stage. "Yes, that's Yi Wanwan." A higher-up nodded and said, "Yi Wanwan drank alcohol during the match and is currently asleep. Headmaster, please place the order to capture her." How novel. The headmaster waved his hand. No need. We can discuss this after Yi Wanwan wakes up. She can keep sleeping. Lei He and the others all frowned. Discuss this after Yi Wanwan woke up? No one disturbed the sound asleep Yi Wanwan after that. As time passed by, afternoon turned into night. On the stage, Yi Wanwan slowly opened her eyes, her head splitting. Yi Wanwan foggily surveyed her surroundings. Many mercenary students remained, as well as Lord Azura and Ji Shiran. Yi Wanwan frowned deeply and pressed on her temples hard. Her mind was a mess. She was clueless about the prior events. Yi Wanwan sat up a moment later and leaned against the corner pole of the stage. When she met everyone's peculiar gazes, she felt inexplicably guilty and tried her best to recall earlier events. She participated in the martial competition. Then she ran into Elder Lei He's disciple, Meng Ku, and challenged Elder Lei He's second disciple, Meng Tian too. After that, she drank the cocktail with a high alcohol content that she prepared ahead of time. Then Yi Wanwan lost all memory of what happened afterward. I blacked out again. Am I that awful with alcohol? Yi Wanwan murmured. Did the match end? Yi Wanwan asked as she stood up suddenly, her eyes scanning the crowd. However, the entire venue was silent. Thousands of pairs of eyes stared at her intently, but no one spoke. Yi Wanwan frowned deeply. What are they doing? Why are they looking at me like this? Did I do something after getting drunk? The referee. Where's the referee? Yi Wanwan looked below the stage. Seeing Yi Wanwan's gaze landing on him, the referee reflexively covered his crotch. Sorry for getting drunk earlier, referee. How did the match end? Did I win or lose? Yi Wanwan asked. Chapter 1691, she was the only one left on the stage. Meng Ku and Meng Tian were missing. Got drunk. Heh, Yi Wanwan, you were quite mighty, the referee mocked. A casual, I got drunk, and she lethally killed an S-rank mercenary, Meng Tian, and nearly crippled him. Yi Wanwan, you harmed your fellow disciple and killed senior brother Meng Ku. The proof is solid as iron, so surrender yourself already. Meng Ku, who was standing next to Elder Lei He in the VIP seats, severely shouted at her all of a sudden. Yi Wanwan was startled, shock surfacing in her eyes. I killed Meng Tian. Meng Tian was Elder Lei He's second disciple, to say the least, but she managed to kill an S-rank mercenary this easily? Moreover, Yi Wanwan never thought she would commit murder after getting drunk. Sis 1. Li Xin sprinted to the base of the stage and took out his phone from his pocket, handing it to Yi Wanwan. He quietly said, Sis Phone, you're in big trouble. I recorded your match, so take a look for yourself. Yi Wanwan accepted the phone from Li Xin in a baffled state. Yi Wanwan was shocked by the Yi Wanwan in the video. She knew she would recover worryless Nie's strength when she was drunk, but she didn't expect herself to be this powerful. She didn't display this kind of terrifying strength back at the cafe. The beginning of the video was fine, but Meng Ku clearly wanted her dead when he took out a dagger. Meng Tian wasn't strong enough compared to her drunk self, and got his dagger stolen before being killed by her instead. He brought it upon himself, so there wasn't much to say about that. However, this was Yi Wanwan's first time seeing herself kill someone. She didn't know if it really was her first time killing someone, but this was the first in her current memory, so a desire to retch uncontrollably arose in her. Yi Wanwan, what else do you have to say for killing the S-rank disciple, Meng Tian? The headmaster of Scarlet Flames asked her from the VIP seats. Yi Wanwan followed the source of the voice and examined the elderly man. Several elders stood next to the elderly man, including Elder Gong and Lei. Yi Wanwan was ignorant, so she managed to guess the elderly man's identity with a little thought. If she was right, then this was the headmaster of Scarlet Flames Academy. This junior won't admit to the crime of intentionally killing my fellow disciple. Yi Wanwan answered the headmaster without being obsequious or haughty. Insolence. Lei stared at Yi Wanwan and yelled, Yi Wanwan, everyone saw you kill Meng Tian. Do you think you can pretend it didn't happen with a few words? Lei pointed at her and continued, I believe it wasn't your intention to kill Meng Tian, Yuan. Did someone purposely instruct you to do so? If you admit it and reveal the mastermind, Scarlet Flames Academy can be lenient in your punishment. After saying that, Leahy casually glanced at Elder Gong. Elder Leahy, you can eat carelessly, but you shouldn't speak carelessly, Elder Gong coolly said with a glance at the other man. Leahy snorted. Elder Gong, I didn't say you were the mastermind who instructed Yuan to kill Meng Tian. So why are you so agitated? Could it be that you're guilty, so you're now afraid Yuan will reveal your name? Chapter 1692. 1692 Elder Gong shook his head, disinclined to pay any more attention to Leahy. Yuan, as long as you expose the mastermind, Scarlet Flames Academy will definitely give you a lenient punishment. Otherwise, only death awaits you. Elder Leahy shouted at her harshly. It wasn't important whether Yuan died or not, but if they could use Yuan to drag Elder Gong into the matter, Meng Tian's death would be worth it. Only death awaits me. Yuan looked at him in confusion. I'm rather puzzled by Elder Leahy's words. May I ask what unpardonable crime I committed that requires me to pay with my life? Oh, so you stubbornly refuse to admit your wrongdoings? The elder from the Enforcement Council interjected. Yuan's gaze fell on the elder. Please clearly tell me what I did. Yuan, you murdered Meng Tian with irrefutable evidence, so there's no room for denial, the enforcer elder expressionlessly said. Murdered Meng Tian? Yuan was startled. Elder, although matches end when a result is reached, accidents are unavoidable. I believe no one present would refute this point, correct? It's useless to quibble here, the enforcer elder said. How am I quibbling? If I need to pay a life for a life, then why didn't Elder Leahy's eldest disciple stand up and pay with his life when he killed my master's beloved disciple back then? Yuan questioned. As you said, accidents are unavoidable. The case of Elder Leahy's eldest disciple was considered an accident back then. The enforcer elder's tone turned impatient. Yuan nodded lightly. That's right, Elder. My case was also an accident, so I'm also innocent. You claim you did it accidentally? What a joke. I witnessed you killing Meng Tian myself. It absolutely wasn't an accident. The referee suddenly argued. Referee? How are you a referee with your judgment abilities? Yuan found it humorous. May I ask what rank Meng Tian and Meng Ku were, referee? S rank. So what? The referee answered truthfully. And what rank am I? Yuan pursued. D rank, of course. That's right. When a D-rank mercenary like me has to fight two S-rank mercenaries at the same time, I can't help but be nervous. In my nervous state, my brain's judgment abilities were naturally compromised. Plus, I'm only a D-rank mercenary, so I can't control myself as well as an S-rank mercenary. What fault is there from an error on my part? Yuan asked with a smile. Utter nonsense. The enforcer elder shouted angrily. That's because you drank alcohol and killed Meng Tian after getting drunk. How dare you keep searching for excuses? Drinking alcohol, the corners of Yuan's lips curled up as she stared at the enforcer elder with a smirk. May I ask this elder if there are rules in Scarlet Flames Academy that prohibit students participating in the martial competition from drinking alcohol? Everyone turned to each other, stunned. There really doesn't seem to be this explicit rule. No, the enforcer elder replied impatiently. Since this rule doesn't exist, why can't I drink when my craving for alcohol overcomes me? If you drink, you get drunk. Your judgment abilities are impaired and your mind becomes intoxicated. This is common knowledge. Hence, drunkenness definitely impacts a match in all sorts of uncertain ways. Everyone knows this. So why didn't you prohibit a competitor from drinking alcohol? This can only be attributed to an error on your part. What does it have to do with me? Yuan lectured him without pause. You. The enforcer elder was at a loss for words. With a smile, Yuan continued, I've done everything in strict adherence of Scarlet Flame's rules. Since there aren't any rules that prohibit the consumption of alcohol, I'm not responsible for any of the uncertain factors following the consumption of alcohol. That's reasonable, right? Chapter 1693 Yi Wan could regurgitate the martial competition's rules backward. For example, even though Meng Tian took out a dagger wasn't considered a concealed weapon or poisonous powder, so a weapon like that was permitted. Hence, Meng Tian didn't break the rules, and his guilt couldn't be decided simply based on whether he intended to kill her or not. Yi Wan wasn't dumb. Everyone saw Meng Tian pull out a dagger and attack her during the match, but was killed by her instead after she stole his dagger. So why did these higher-ups still determine her to be guilty? They weren't favoring a certain side. These were Scarlet Flame's Academy's rules indeed. As long as Meng Tian didn't use poison or concealed weapons, the dagger was permitted unless he used his dagger and stabbed her several times, leading to her death. Only then would Meng Tian be punished. Since they did things according to the Academy's rules, this would be easy for her. Scarlet Flame's Academy attached immense importance to rules, so she would be fine as long as she found the loophole in its rules. Scarlet Flame's Academy's rules didn't prohibit competitors from drinking alcohol, so Yi Wan could naturally avoid responsibility for any uncertain factors that occurred during her intoxicated state. After all, she was merely a D-rank mercenary who followed the rules. The enforcer elder stared at Yi Wan, his lips twitching. Elder Gong's disciple was truly eloquent and managed to render him speechless. No matter what, it's true that you killed Meng Tian, the enforcer elder said with a frown. Yi Wan smiled faintly. May I ask this elder, who owned the weapon I used to kill Meng Tian? That dagger was carried by Meng Tian himself from the start. He was inept, and I was able to steal it and retaliate. How could I have expected that? Meng Tian is Elder Lei's beloved disciple, to say the least, so who could have expected Elder Lei's disciples to be so weak? They couldn't defeat me 2 versus 1, yet you're now blaming me instead? Elder Lei's face was so dark that ink could drip from it, and an immensely chilly glint shone in his eyes. Meanwhile, Elder Gong was smiling mockingly. He was very keen on Yi Wan's words. Lei, you couldn't teach your disciples well. 2 S-rank mercenaries fought against my disciple, Yi Wan, who was on her own. One got killed in return, while the other was seriously injured. Now it's suddenly my disciple who's in the wrong? Elder Gong glanced at Lei. Veins bulged out on Lei's forehead. Ever since Elder Gong's disciple, Worryless Nya, left Scarlet Flame's Academy, Lei had ruthlessly trampled Elder Gong all these years. When had he ever been humiliated like this? No matter what, you still killed the S-rank student, Meng Tian. The enforcer elder stared at Yi Wan with a deep frown. Although all of Yi Wan's reasoning was logical, they couldn't pardon Yi Wan's crime of murder just like that, right? Sir Headmaster, I didn't disobey any of Scarlet Flame's Academy's rules, so I shouldn't have to accept any punishment. Please show me justice, Headmaster. Yi Wan suddenly spoke to the headmaster of Scarlet Flame's Academy. The headmaster sunk into contemplation. Without rules, nothing could be done. The headmaster placed high importance on rules and personally decided or participated in the creation of most of the rules at Scarlet Flame's Academy. Chapter 1694 Yi Wan's words might be twisted logic, but did hold some truth. Yi Wan didn't violate any rules. It was the Academy's rules that had loopholes. Headmaster, this junior has something that I don't know if I should mention, Ji Shiran suddenly said to Scarlet Flame's headmaster. The headmaster nodded and turned to Emperor Ji. No need to be polite, Emperor Ji. Speak your mind. Headmaster, Scarlet Flame's Academy student, Yi Wan, did kill an S-rank mercenary, but Yi Wan is merely a D-rank mercenary. As she said, she did fight 2 people on her own and had to face 2 S-rank mercenaries, so perhaps she was a little nervous and didn't control her strength well. Moreover, based on what I saw, it was Meng Tian who possessed a killing intent first, but was killed instead due to a lack of strength. I think Yi Wan should be considered innocent, Ji Shiran said with a light chuckle. Ji Shiran didn't mention any loopholes in the rules since the rules were created by the headmaster himself. After all, so it would humiliate the headmaster if he kept mentioning the rules. The headmaster nodded and turned to Lord Azura to ask, What do you think, Lord Azura? The man looked at the headmaster and deliberated on it for a moment before responding. I agree with Emperor G. Elder Gong, Elder Leahy. All the mercenaries and higher-ups present looked at each other, bewildered. Didn't people say Emperor G and Lord Azura got along like water and oil? So why did they feel something was amiss with these two people? These two, Yuan. Elder Leahy glanced at Lord Azura before looking away. Why did I invite Lord Azura here? Not only did he not help me in the slightest, but he also sabotaged me at every turn. Unfortunately, he was Lord Azura, so Leahy couldn't have a falling out with him. Sometime later, the headmaster looked at Yuan and nodded. All right, Yuan, just this once. This is not to be repeated again. The consumption of alcohol is prohibited during martial competitions from now on. Yuan immediately responded with a smile. It had to be said that the headmaster was very fair and reasonable. Resume the competition, the headmaster added. Yuan, I'm not allowed to drink alcohol anymore. What more is there to compete? I should just surrender. Currently speaking, 8 S-rank mercenaries were left, and they were all frighteningly strong. There was no doubt that she had 0 chances of winning unless she drank alcohol. The referee quickly went onto the stage and sharply glared at Yuan before impatiently announcing, Yuan, you won this match, so you can keep challenging opponents until you're defeated. Can I not challenge anyone? Yuan asked. She already entered the top 10, so it didn't matter whether she continued to compete or not. No, this is a rule. You must obey it, the referee retorted. So I lost to the rules. Yuan was forced to look at the top 10 seats and randomly pointed at an S-rank mercenary. She was prepared to briskly surrender when the match started, so she wouldn't be beaten without room for retaliation. Soon, a young man walked down from the top 10 seats and arrived on the stage, coming face to face with Yuan. Yuan was about to concede when Chapter 1695, Referee, I concede defeat. I won't compete, the man said ahead of Yuan. You want to concede defeat? The referee looked at the S-rank mercenary with surprise. This student was remarkably stronger than Meng Tian, but he conceded defeat without even an attack. I concede defeat. Then the man jumped down the stage without a glance at Yuan, leaving a dumbfounded Yuan behind. Yuan wins, advancing to 8th place in the top 10. The referee had no choice but to announce that. Yuan, you can choose to rest for a moment before continuing your challenge. You can choose to not rest too, the referee said. I choose him. Yuan pointed at the S-rank mercenary a rank above the previous mercenary. Why did this woman choose me? Is there something wrong with her? It's not like I know her. The man frowned and left the top 10 seats with a displeased expression. The man walked onto the stage and stuck up his middle finger toward Yuan before saying to the referee, I concede defeat. Then he immediately walked down from the stage without giving anyone a chance to say anything. The referee announced, Yuan wins, advancing to 7th place in the top 10. Yuan, her strength when she wasn't drunk was complete trash compared to these true S-rank mercenaries. All right? What were they trying to do by conceding defeat one after another without hesitation? Yuan considered it for a moment and understood the situation. Only she knew that her strength rocketed to a frightening height after getting drunk. It didn't mean that other people knew. These S-rank mercenaries who were conceding defeat probably thought she was still the super powerful figure who could slaughter gods and demons on the stage from earlier. Powerful my ass. Yuan became spirited instantly. If things were like that, perhaps she could get 1st place. It wasn't necessary, but why would she reject a 1st place given to her? She wasn't dumb. You, come down. Yuan's confidence burst from her, and she looked at one of the men sitting in the top 10. Me? The young man pointed at himself, taken by surprise. Yes, you. Come down. Yuan nodded. How about you pick a different person to challenge? The man asked her cautiously. Bullshit. She's challenging you. Hurry and get down there. Why are you freaking asking her to challenge someone else? What? You want to dig a trap for us? I'm telling you, if you don't go down now, I won't be so polite anymore. Shoved forward by everyone, the man unwillingly entered the stage without any choice. Attack, Yuan said. You attack first. The man shook his head. You first. No, I won't. The man looked unwilling. Yuan angrily glared at him. He was a towering S-rank mercenary and full-grown man. Why did he start acting coy with her? Yuan immediately struck the man with her hand. This man had to be willing to attack, no matter what, or else it would be disadvantageous for her if the match was dragged out. Her weakness might be discovered. Hence, Yuan decisively attacked. If this truly didn't work, she could just surrender. However, before she could touch the man, he flipped and jumped down the stage. What? Come out and fight me if you can. What the heck is wrong with this man? The audience stared at the man with embarrassment. They wanted to insult him, but abandoned that idea after some thought. He was still an S-rank mercenary. After all, it wouldn't be good if he held a grudge against them afterward. Chapter 1696. Yuan wins and advances to 6th place in the top 10, the referee declared. Yuan's eyes shifted as she surveyed the remaining mercenaries in the top 10. She grandiosely proposed, "Don't be so bothersome. Attack together, all of you." A commotion reverberated throughout the venue, following her words. Yuan is at it again. Shiran helplessly smiled as he looked at Yuan. Meanwhile, Lord Azura furrowed his brows. What if those S-rank mercenaries were too outraged and did all attack at once? How would she get out of that mess then? A thrill surfaced in Elder Gong's eyes as he looked at his new disciple. For some reason, he felt like he was seeing Worryless Nya again. Shadows of Worryless leaked from every inch of her. No one knew the full depths of his sadness since Worryless left Scarlet Flame's Academy. Today, he could finally repay it with full interest. From now on, who would dare to say the disciples he taught were mediocre? Even the headmaster looked at Yuan with intrigue. This girl seemed rather interesting. The remaining S-rank mercenaries in the top 10 looked at each other. Senior brothers, junior brothers, this junior sister seems to be looking down on us. A burly S-rank mercenary got incensed and harshly glared at Yuan. You seem to have some misunderstanding. You should omit the word seems to another S-rank mercenary chimed in. Do you need to ask? She wants to challenge all of us by herself. Of course, she's looking down on us. Senior brothers, junior brothers, how about it? Let's go up and greet that junior sister. Can we act like men? We can't freaking concede defeat before the fight even starts. The burly mercenary looked extraordinarily ferocious. I'm a woman, so I won't go up. I concede defeat. Good luck, man. The good-looking female mercenary left the top 10 seats without a struggle. What's there to be afraid of? Go up and crush her. She's just a woman. What? Can she beat us all to death? The burly man looked at the silent S-rank mercenaries with disappointment brimming from his face. And, mostly, I'm afraid she'll go crazy again and kill us. Don't forget how Meng Tian passed away. An S-rank mercenary shook his head. What a joke. Meng Tian's an exception. Anyway, there's nothing fearsome about that woman. I can crush her any second. A man in gold robe stood up and met Yuan's eyes. Yuan's mood was indescribable right now. Did she act too arrogantly? What if that gold robe man really went up on the stage? What should she do then? Senior brother, you're right. I support you. The burly man looked incredibly excited and vehemently nodded. Oomph. However, there's a good saying that's also my life motto. As they say, a good man doesn't fight with a woman. I never hit women, so she should be glad she's a woman, or else I'd definitely kill her today. The gold-robed man turned to the referee. Referee, I concede defeat. Yuan. The referee. The mercenaries. The burly mercenary looked flabbergasted. The burly mercenary soon regained his wits and looked after the man's departing figure. He snorted. Senior brother is right. Senior brother, you have to believe in yourself. You're the most freaking useless. Freaking. It was fine if he didn't have the guts to fight, but he had to pretend he was super awesome. This useless piece of trash. Chapter 1697. The remaining mercenaries all looked at each other speechlessly after the gold-robed man walked away. The gold-robed man who conceded defeat and left just now was a middle-tier S-rank mercenary who could almost be considered average amongst the S-rank mercenaries at Scarlet Flames Academy. At Scarlet Flames Academy, the strength of S-rank mercenary students was varied across the chart. Someone like Meng Tian would be killed in a second if he encountered a top-tier S-rank mercenary. Only normal S-rank mercenaries participated in this year's martial competition, and barely any higher-leveled S-rank mercenaries attended. The majority of them were carrying out missions outside. Forget it, that senior brother's strength is the highest amongst us, but even he surrendered. I won't fight either. An S-rank mercenary turned to the referee and said, I concede defeat. I also concede defeat. The few remaining S-rank mercenaries also conceded defeat, leaving the burly mercenary dumbstruck. They all surrendered? They hadn't even started fighting, so how did they know they would lose for sure? Moreover, even if this woman was formidable, they had numbers on their side, so it was uncertain who'd come out on top if the few of them fought with everything they had. What about you? Are you fighting or conceding? The referee promptly turned to the remaining burly man left in the top 10. The burly mercenary was startled. Are you kidding me? The burly man stared at the referee and snorted. Of course I'm fighting. Then hurry up, the referee responded. Suddenly, the burly man took out his phone from his pocket. Hey, what is it? Yeah, it's me. What? Okay, I'll be right there. The strong man hung up the call with an evidently anxious expression. Not good. My friend got in a car accident and is waiting for a blood transfusion. My blood type happens to be a match, so I gotta go and save my friend. Absolute silence descended on the venue. The referee, Yuan, everyone. The burly man glanced at Yuan and coldly said, You're lucky, junior sister. If it weren't for my friend getting into a car accident and losing a lot of blood today. You get the point. Yuan, you freaking held your phone upside down. The referee climbed onto the stage and announced, Yuan obtains first place in this year's martial competition, creating the newest record. She won 37 matches in a row without a single defeat, obtaining 5,000 honor points for breaking a record. Combined with the 10,000 honor points from achieving first place in the competition, she gains a total of 15,000 honor points. Exclamations spread across the audience. She broke the record. Damn, I didn't even notice that Yuan actually won 37 matches in a row without losing at all. Impressive. I think Worryless Nyebak then only won 23 matches in a row and created the first record for the martial competition. However, the caliber of that year's martial competition was too high. Aside from top-tier S-rank mercenaries, SS-rank mercenaries also participated. Worryless Nya was fearsome indeed, but so what? In the end, she was still surpassed by her younger sister, Nyelinglong. Worryless Nya's master is Elder Gong, while Nyelinglong's master is Elder Leihi. How accomplished was Elder Gong after he produced Worryless Nya back then? She established all sorts of records at Scarlet Flames Academy, but unfortunately, they were all broken by Nyelinglong afterward. That's right, there's still a considerable distance between Worryless Nya and Nyelinglong. Chapter 1698. 1698. I didn't expect Elder Gong's newly accepted disciple to break Nyelinglong's record. Damn, Nyelinglong won 28 rounds, but Yuan won 37 rounds. You're comparing Yuan to Nyelinglong? Are you trying to be funny? The number of SS rank mercenaries who participated in the competition from Nyelinglong's year was as many as the amount of fur on a cow's body. The competitors in these 2 years were a completely different caliber, all right? Even if we ignore that, Yuanwan merely broke one of Nie Linglong's records, and it's an insignificant record. Things like the quantity of S-rank missions, mercenary honor points, and such had brought about Nie Linglong's nearly unrivaled and unshakable reputation at Scarlet Flame's Academy. Many higher-ups couldn't help but nod and praise Yuanwan. Some of them walked toward Elder Gong with a grin on their face as they congratulated him. Haha, Elder Gong, you've truly accepted a disciple with remarkable potential. She's only a D rank, but managed to bulldoze through this year's martial competition. Elder Gong, you truly make other people really envious. Elder Gong's face didn't reveal anything, but joy surfaced in his eyes as he said, My awful disciple still has a long journey to travel. She merely got lucky and was able to break the record this time and achieve first place. It's nothing worthy of bragging or praise. Elder Lei glanced at Elder Gong, his expression so dark that ink could drip from it. This old geezer is actually showing off despite being the one who won in the end. Linglong, how does it feel to watch a record get broken? A higher-up genuinely joked while looking at the nearby Nie Linglong. Nie Linglong met that higher-up's eyes and expressionlessly responded, Oh, I broke this kind of record? Of course. You won 28 matches in a row the first time you competed in the martial competition and broke the record of your sister, Worryless Nie. The higher-up nodded frantically. Did Nie Linglong forget her own record-breaking? I see. Nie Linglong nodded lightly and detachedly said, I don't take this kind of minor record to heart, so I must have forgotten it with the passing of time. The higher-up laughed. That's true. Linglong, the martial competition for your year had a much higher caliber than this year's. Furthermore, you did break quite a number of major records, so it's normal for you to forget about a record like this. Nie Linglong walked towards Scarlet Flame's headmaster and said, Headmaster, I'll excuse myself now since the competition has concluded. The headmaster nodded, giving her the go-ahead. My lord, the competition is over and it's late. There are still many matters requiring my lord's attention, so why don't we leave soon? Jiang Yin quietly asked the expressionless man next to him. Then I'll also excuse myself now. Seeing the dust settle for this competition and everyone's successive departures, Lord Azura stood up and said, I'll be taking my leave now. Headmaster, help yourself, Lord Azura. The headmaster nodded. Lord Azura merely walked a few steps before suddenly turning around, his bone-chilling gaze landing on the unmoving Ji Shiran. Emperor Ji seems to be abundant in free time. The competition has already ended, so why is Emperor Ji still staying? Lord Azura aloofly asked the other man. Ji Shiran smiled faintly. May I ask what it has to do with Lord Azura, whether I have an abundance of free time, and whether or not I'm staying or leaving? Chapter 1699. 1699, Lord Azura and Emperor Ji abruptly drawing their swords at each other took everyone by surprise. Why did the affectionate family from a minute ago fill the arena with the smell of gunpowder without any warning? No one knew why the duo suddenly acted like this. Emperor Ji, the competition has ended, so if you are busy, you can leave, Elder Gong said to Ji Shiran as he walked up. Ji Shiran was silent for a moment before responding, All right. After bidding the headmaster farewell, Ji Shiran looked at Lord Azura. If you please, Lord Azura. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Emperor Ji and Lord Azura left side by side without another word between them. On the stage, Yuanwan was speechless. These two were rather strange. However, what baffled Yuanwan was, did Lord Azura recognize her? If Lord Azura wasn't Si Yin, how could he recognize her in this disguise? Yuanwan didn't deliberate the matter too deeply since she was nearly certain that Lord Azura was Si Yin. Any further contemplation was meaningless. She then became puzzled. From this competition, she earned 5,000 honor points from creating a new record and 10,000 points from achieving first place. Combined with the 10,000 points from completing 2 A-rank missions from earlier, she now possessed 25,000 honor points in total. It sounded rather nice, but what was the point of these mercenary honor points? Wanwan, come here, Elder Gong said to her with a smile from the VIP seats. Yuan immediately walked toward Elder Gong and greeted him with a cheerful grin. Master, Wan, your result from the martial competition exceeded my expectations. You broke a record and even won first place. Elder Gong looked immensely satisfied. Master, I'm mediocre. It was all because those senior brothers and sisters were easy on me and purposely conceded defeat. Otherwise, how could I have gotten first place? Yuan responded with a soft chuckle. The nearby elder he imperceptibly glanced at them. Those last few people were easy on Yuan, but of his disciples, one was killed while the other was injured by Yuan. Ah, great. I'm comforted by your humility, Elder Gong said joyously. Elder Gong continued. Wan, you now possess 25,000 honor points, so you can promote your own mercenary rank. 25,000 points are just enough for a promotion to A rank. Through Elder Gong's explanation, Yuan finally understood that to become a high-ranking mercenary at Scarlet Flames Academy and enjoy the finest treatment, a person had to have enough mercenary honor points on top of possessing the appropriate strength. Promotion to an A-rank mercenary required 25,000 honor points, while S-rank required 50,000 points. Of course, it was a fool's dream to want to obtain enough mercenary points without adequate strength. Normally speaking, completing one top-tier A-rank mission merely gave a few thousand honor points. If you had enough strength, you could marathon missions, and it wouldn't be difficult to advance to A rank or S rank. Aside from using honor points to promote your own rank, there were a million other uses. For example, you could have the headmaster of Scarlet Flames Academy personally weld a weapon for you, hire super high-ranking Scarlet Flame students, etc. At Scarlet Flames Academy, mercenary honor points meant everything. Chapter 1700, Wan. Promote yourself to A rank first, then do more missions. You'll be able to become an S rank mercenary in 2 months at most, Elder Gong said with a smile. Yuan shook her head. She didn't think much of mercenary honor points before Elder Gong's explanation. Now, though, she discovered that the uses of honor points were too immense. Master, I won't promote my mercenary rank yet, Yuan refuted after a moment of deliberation. What did you say? Elder Gong knitted his brows. She won't promote her mercenary rank? The treatment of a D-rank mercenary versus an A-rank mercenary in the mercenary world was worlds apart. I wonder, can I use my honor points to request Sir Headmaster to help me with something? Yuan turned to the nearby headmaster with hope in her eyes. It would be a fairy tale for her to recover her memories relying on herself alone. However, if Scarlet Flame's headmaster was willing to help, then her chances of recovering her memories would be tremendous. Of course you can, the headmaster responded with a smile. My weapon welding abilities are passable too. Wan, the headmaster's weapon welding abilities in the independent state are unrivaled. Master would approve if you wanted to use your honor points to request the headmaster to help you weld a handy weapon. Of course, you could also request the headmaster to give you instructions in different areas, including martial techniques, Elder Gong explained. Master, can I speak to the headmaster alone? Yuan asked curiously. You can. It was the headmaster who answered. Soon, Yuan followed the headmaster to his office. Speak, student Yi, the headmaster said to her. Headmaster, to be frank with you, I know about your hypnosis abilities, so I would like to request the headmaster to hypnotize me. Yuan's eyes looked firm. Hypnosis? The headmaster was startled. There were indeed many students who requested him to hypnotize them. Most of them were afflicted with wounds from love and wanted to seal their memories related to love. However, looking at the student in front of him, she probably wasn't afflicted with love wounds. Student Yi, most people who request me to hypnotize them are afflicted with love wounds and want to seal their painful memories. Is this your reasoning too? The headmaster asked with uncertainty. I don't think so. Headmaster, it's like this. I lost a segment of my memory and would like to request the headmaster to help me recover that lost segment. Yuan spoke frankly, not wanting to speak in circles. You lost a segment of your memory? The headmaster frowned. How could someone lose memories out of nowhere? So you want to use your honor points to have me hypnotize you and see if I can recover your lost memories? The headmaster looked pensive. Right? That's what I meant. Yi-Wan nodded several times. Student Yi, sit down first. The headmaster had Yi-Wan lie down on the sofa. Then he sat down next to Yi-Wan as though he was about to have a casual chat with her and took out an antique pocket watch. Under the headmaster's instructions, Yi-Wan stared at the second hand on the watch and continuously answered the headmaster's questions. An unknown amount of time passed. It was like the blink of an eye, but also like an entire century had passed. Yi-Wan's mind became dazed, and she lost consciousness. Chapter 1701. 1701, Drifting Between Consciousness and Unconsciousness. Yi-Wan seemed to return to her childhood. Next to a brook, an imposing elderly man slowly walked toward a girl with an austere expression and gently knelt down, taking the girl into his arms. "Grandpa, I miss Dad and Mom. I want to go home." The girl's clear eyes fogged with mist. However, the elderly man shook his head and solemnly looked at the girl. "Your dad and mom passed away already. From now on, you and Grandpa will stick together. Don't think about your dad and mom anymore. Do you understand?" "No, Grandpa, I miss Dad and Mom." The mist in the girl's eyes turned into tears and dripped down. The elderly man ignored the girl and picked her up, walking away from the brook. A while later, the elderly man finally said, "Worryless, remember that Grandpa named you Worryless because I hope for you to be forever happy and without worry. Your dad and mom aren't worthy of being parents. Your mother especially would rather oppose me over your father. Say, Worryless, what right do disloyal, unfilial, and heartless people like them have to be your parents? From now on, don't mention them and consider them both dead. Grandpa will take good care of you. No one in this world is allowed to make my little Worryless suffer the slightest grievance." "President, we should leave." Several middle-aged men who appeared spoke to the elderly man. They reverently escorted the girl and the elderly man into a car. At that moment, a splitting pain ripped through Yi-Wan's mind. The scene skipped. She fell to the ground on her knees, her body covered in blood and disbelief and terror brimming from her eyes. This was an unimaginable type of despair and helplessness. It was more terrifying than the destruction of the world. A shocked cry escaped Yi-Wan's lips, and her tightly shut eyes shot open as she sprang up from the sofa. Yi-Wan was soaked from sweat from her hair to her clothes. She looked like she just climbed out of a pool. She was unable to disperse the immense despair and terror from her mind. She swore that she had never felt anything that intolerable in her life. "You're awake." Before Yi-Wan could contemplate it any longer, the headmaster spoke. He was sitting in a nearby office chair and drinking a cup of light-colored tea while looking at her intently. Yi-Wan frowned deeply and harshly slapped her head with her right hand. There was no need to let others know about this kind of splitting agony. Yi-Wan was previously doubtful whether the headmaster's technique was enough to help her recover her memories, but it now appeared that her worries were unnecessary. The amount of information that she obtained this time was clearer than before. She could even faintly see her grandpa's appearance. Furthermore, her previous memories were fragmented, but today's memories were continuous. Before, she was puzzled why the grandpa in her memory kept telling her that her parents passed away already, but she finally understood after this hypnosis session. It was evident from Grandpa's words that he was extremely dissatisfied with Patriarch Nya and Madame Nya due to something that her parents did. Hence, he purposely said her parents were dead. Chapter 1702, What Caused Grandpa to Disapprove of Patriarch Nya and Madame Nya. Though Yi-Wan was clueless, she also vaguely remembered that the middle-aged men who arrived in the end treated Grandpa with considerable respect and called him President. President? What kind of president? Student Yi, the headmaster called, disrupting Yi Wanwan's contemplation. Yi Wanwan gathered her thoughts and turned to the headmaster. Sir Headmaster, your hypnosis abilities are truly extraordinary. If the headmaster was willing to help her, she could completely recover her memories for sure. Student Yi, as you mentioned earlier, you did lose a lot of your memories. The headmaster looked at her meaningfully. Precisely speaking, you didn't lose your memories. You seem to have had your memories replaced. Do you know about this matter? Yi Wanwan nodded frantically. Sir Headmaster, I do know about this matter, which is why I wanted you to help me recover my own memories. The headmaster sipped from his tea and thought for a moment before looking up at Yi Wanwan. I'm afraid only I can help you recover your memories in the entire independent state. Thank you, Sir Headmaster. Immense excitement surfaced in her eyes. She was right. The headmaster of Scarlet Flames did possess this ability. As long as she could recover her memories, then the truth would be uncovered. Don't thank me so fast. The headmaster looked at Yi Wanwan with a faint smile. Student Yi, I can tell that you're a person who values the rules remarkably. I happen to also be the same. If you want to recover your memories, then let's follow the rules. But I don't value the rules. The valuing the rules that the headmaster was referring to was probably her defense to prove her innocence after killing Meng Tian on the stage. I seriously dug a hole for myself to jump into. She was the one who said it, and it wasn't like she could slap her own face, so Yi Wanwan was forced to agree with him. Sir Headmaster is right. I do value the rules a lot. May I ask what the rules are for me to recover my memories? According to Scarlet Flames Academy's rules, requesting me to weld a weapon or giving guidance costs 25,000 honor points each time. Hypnosis requires more effort, so it costs 50,000. Based on Student Ye's situation, you probably need to be hypnotized 3 more times, which will cost 150,000 honor points at least. This time also cost 50,000, so you currently owe 25,000 honor points, Student Yi, the headmaster explained. Why do I suddenly want to die? 150,000 honor points, combined with the 25,000 points she owed this time, totaled 175,000 points. How the heck was she going to get her hands on 175,000 honor points? Didn't he want her life, essentially? High-difficulty A-rank missions like defeating Big Dipper and 7-Star would only give her 5,000 points, while super dangerous S-rank missions would probably only give her around 10,000 points. However, not every mission was this easy. She would only gain a considerable amount of honor points from those super dangerous missions. 175,000 honor points. Speaking of which, can this thing be bought with money? Chapter 1703, someone like eldest young Master Shen started as an S-rank mercenary. So how did he earn enough honor points to promote himself from D-rank to S-rank? No way would Yi Wanwan believe that eldest young Master Shen was promoted from actually doing missions and gaining honor points himself. If honor points could be bought with money, it would make things much simpler. 175,000 honor points shouldn't be a big problem. Sir Headmaster, how about you help me recover my memory first? Let's say I also owe you the other 150,000 for now. What do you think? Yi Wanwan eagerly stared at the headmaster with an ingratiating smile. Oh, them. The headmaster was startled. This was the first time someone dared to bring up this kind of request to him at Scarlet Flames Academy. Yi Wanwan already owed 25,000 honor points, which was already a first in the history of Scarlet Flames Academy. Now, this girl actually wanted to owe him the other 150,000 too? What an utter fantasy. No, you already owe 25,000 honor points, so you must pay back the honor points first. You aren't allowed to owe honor points from now on. The headmaster solemnly looked at Yi Wanwan. Fine. Yi Wanwan looked helpless. So what if she owed them? It wasn't like she wouldn't pay him back. If she could recover her memory, earning these honor points shouldn't be a problem. Yi Wanwan originally wanted to inform the headmaster who she was, but decided to withhold her identity for now after some deliberation. She hadn't informed even her master, Elder Gong, of her identity, yet to avoid evoking some unnecessary conflict. A moment later, Yi Wanwan stood up and bade farewell to the headmaster. Her top priority right now was to earn more honor points at Scarlet Flames Academy. She only needed 175,000 to recover her memory. After leaving the headmaster's office, Yi Wanwan headed to the mission issuance area. As usual, the mission issuance area was crowded with people. There were quite a few new missions posted these past 2 days that offered decent honor points. Damn, Yi Wanwan's here. Several conversing A-rank mercenaries saw Yi Wanwan walking toward them and were taken by surprise. After this year's martial competition, Yi Wanwan skyrocketed to fame, and her name was rather well known at Scarlet Flames Academy now. Yi, Sis Wanwan. Several A-rank mercenaries instantly gathered around her, each of them passionate as fire. Yi Wanwan was dumbfounded. In her time at Scarlet Flames Academy, even some C-rank mercenaries didn't act friendly to her, let alone these high-ranking mercenaries. As expected, any place in the independent state required you to be strong to have any say, even a mercenary academy. Without strength, no one would pay attention to you. With enough strength displayed, everything would be different. Sis Wanwan, you're really awesome. Meng Tian and Meng Ku were simply scum. Everyone satisfied you killed Meng Tian and seriously injured Meng Ku. An A-rank mercenary looked at Yi Wanwan, overwrought with excitement. Elder Lei's numerous disciples formed a faction of their own, and many high-ranking mercenaries allied with them at Scarlet Flames Academy. Normally, no one dared to provoke Meng Tian and his cohort. Judging from the reactions of these A-rank mercenaries, Yi Wanwan obtained a glance at how often Meng Tian and Meng Ku terrorized other people. Chapter 1704. 1704. Yi Wanwan didn't find it strange, since Meng Tian and Meng Ku were the disciples of an elder with extraordinary strength themselves, so why would they care about mercenaries inferior to them? Sis Wanwan, you must be careful, though. Meng Tian and Meng Ku aren't worth a mention amongst Elder Lei's disciples, but his genuinely fearsome disciples didn't participate in this year's martial competition. A young mercenary said to Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan was surprised. Meng Tian and Meng Ku were actually the weaker of Lei's disciples. How is that possible? That can't be right. Yi Wanwan looked confused and asked the young mercenary. Wasn't Meng Tian Elder Lei's second disciple? How could he be that weak? The young mercenary shook his head and explained, Sis Wanwan, the numbering of an elder's disciples is ordered chronologically at Scarlet Flames Academy. Whoever becomes a disciple earlier is the senior brother. For example, Meng Tian became Elder Lei's disciple rather early, so he's numbered second, but he can't compare to Elder Lei's subsequent disciples at all. That's right. He's completely correct. Elder Lei's eldest disciple, third disciple, and youngest disciple are all frighteningly strong. Many S-rank mercenaries view them as leaders. Sis Wanwan, you must be careful. Lei's strong disciples are all outside on missions right now, but when they return and discover you killed Meng Tian and injured Meng Ku, things won't end well. Although Elder Lei's disciples also look down on Meng Tian and Meng Ku, your actions were equivalent to slapping their faces, so I doubt they will take things lying down. A mercenary kindly warned Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan nodded with understanding. If it was as these mercenaries said, she did have to be more cautious. She hadn't recovered her memories yet, so she naturally couldn't utilize her peak-level martial strength and could only rely on drinking alcohol to recover a tinge. However, the headmaster had clearly laid down the law that she'd be responsible for any trouble that she caused after drinking alcohol from now on. Thank you for your reminders, everyone. I understand. Yi Wanwan said to the A-rank mercenaries around her with a friendly smile. All right, Sis Wanwan. Elder Lei's disciples have bad blood with another group of top-notch mercenaries, and the two factions have gotten into unbreakable scuffles many times. If you're truly worried, Sis Wanwan, you can join the other faction. This way, an A-rank mercenary suggested while rubbing his chin. Yi Wanwan didn't vocalize an opinion on this. She didn't come to Scarlet Flames Academy to stir trouble, and her top priority right now was to accept more missions and accumulate more honor points. She wasn't interested in joining any factions and didn't find it necessary. Sis Wan Wan, did you come here to accept a mission? A female A-rank mercenary curiously looked at Yi Wan Wan. Yeah, I want to accept some high-point missions. Yi Wan Wan truthfully replied with a nod. Chapter 1705, Sis Wan Wan, you want to make a beeline for S rank. The female mercenary looked at Yi Wan Wan with incomprehension. Logically speaking, the mercenary honor points that Yi Wan Wan gained were enough for her to be promoted to a rank, but she was still wearing a lowly D rank uniform. Why are you asking Sis Wan Wan so many questions like a curious toddler? Sis Wan Wan naturally has her own reasons for not using her mercenary points to promote her rank. An A-rank mercenary interjected. The female mercenary rolled her eyes. This is Skisser. Yi Wan Wan kept walking forward, and the A-rank mercenaries trailed after her. As soon as Yi Wan Wan appeared in the mission issuance area, many mercenaries started examining her. Yi Wan Wan, damn. I just came back from mission and heard that Elder Lei, his second disciple, was killed by Elder Gong's new disciple. I heard that new disciple is named Yi Wan Wan. That's not her, right? Yep, that's her. A D-rank mercenary who acted extremely arrogant on stage and insisted on fighting one against two and challenged the two S-rank mercenaries, Meng Tian and Meng Ku, at the same time. In the end, she killed Meng Tian and seriously injured Meng Ku. Her undefeated record of dozens of successful matches broke senior sister Nieling Long's martial competition record, and she won first place? That brutal. You weren't there? Now the live show, that's called brutal. The gossiping mercenaries hastily sealed their lips when they saw Yi Wan Wan approaching. The C-rank and D-rank mercenaries all subconsciously retreated to the side and cleared a spot for Yi Wan Wan upon seeing her. Yi Wan Wan surveyed the mission board. The majority of them were C-rank and B-rank mercenaries and only rewarded 100 to 400 mercenary points after completion. Not only were these C-rank and B-rank missions a waste of time, but the meager mercenary points that they rewarded was utterly horrendous. If she had to accumulate 175,000 mercenary points from doing these C-rank and B-rank missions, her hair would turn white before she reached her goal. Yi Wan Wan completely gave up on C-rank and B-rank missions. There was no way she would ever accept them. As for A-rank missions, the normal ones only rewarded 1,000 or so honor points, while the middle-tier ones gave 2,000 to 3,000 points, and top-tier ones awarded 4,000 to 6,000 points. She could reluctantly accept that amount, but it wouldn't be sufficient for her to accept only A-rank missions. Using an average of 2,500 points per mission, she would need to complete 80 to 90 A-rank missions just to scrape together 175,000 points. It wasn't realistic for her to only stick with A-rank missions. To amass a large quantity of honor points in a short amount of time, her only option was to complete the top-tier S-rank missions, S+ rank missions, and even SS rank missions. However, these missions were currently too difficult for her. When Yi Wan Wan suddenly caught sight of a few particular mission slips, her eyes contracted and her mouth gaped in disbelief. S-rank mission. Obtain a strand of hair from Lord Azura. The completion reward is 10,000 honor points. S-rank mission. Obtain a personal item from Emperor Ji, his bronze ring. The completion reward is 10,000 honor points. Chapter 1706 SSS rank mission. Kill piece of shit. The completion reward is 100 million honor points. Yi Wan Wan's eyes shot open. She counted a few more times and made sure she didn't count incorrectly. 100 million. Yi Wan Wan gulped. She had never heard or seen an SSS rank mission. This couldn't be a new difficulty tailored for piece of shit. Yi Shuihan, right? Also, what the heck was with 100 million honor points? Wasn't that too absurd? However, Yi Wan Wan determined this kind of SSS rank mission had to be a joke, since who in the independent state could kill piece of shit? For this kind of impossible mission, it was meaningless even if you rewarded 1 billion, 10 billion, or 100 billion, let alone 100 million. Yi Wanwan deliberated it for a moment before strolling forward and nonchalantly ripping 3 mission slips off. S-rank mission. Obtain a strand of hair from Lord Azura. The completion reward is 10,000 honor points. S-rank mission. Obtain a personal item from Emperor Ji, his bronze ring. The completion reward is 10,000 honor points. A-rank mission. Head to China and destroy the defected mercenary group. The completion reward is 5,000 honor points. Lord Azura and Ji Xiran's 2 missions were rather valuable. If she completed both of them, she would gain 20,000 honor points in a flash. She felt rather elated as she thought about this. The reward for the A-rank mission was a bit paltry, but it was still meat however little to fly. Anyway, she had to return to China soon, so she would finish the mission related to China first. There wasn't much time left in the half-year period. The sooner her return trip to China was, the better. She couldn't drag it out anymore. Her father and Yi Mufan didn't have much time left, and they were waiting for her. Aside from her father and brother's urgent matter, she also needed to take care of other matters. She had to check up on the Si family's current situation. There was something Yi Wanwan couldn't understand, though. If Lord Azura really was Si Yihan, why was he unconcerned by the Si family situation despite knowing about it and being able to squash the revolt with a single finger as Lord Azura? It would be fine if it was anybody else, and Yi Wanwan could understand if Lord Azura was unwilling to take care of it. However, she heard that Grandma's situation wasn't great, so how could Lord Azura ignore even Grandma if he was Si Yihan? Yi Wanwan couldn't understand his indifference to Grandma. During her contemplation, a commotion swept through her surroundings. Damn, Senior Brother Grim Reaper is back. Fuck, this procession. That's our Scarlet Flames Academy's Senior Brother Grim Reaper. Senior Brother Grim Reaper is probably the most famous person in the entire Scarlet Flames Academy, right? He's not only Grim Reaper, but he's also the eldest young master of the Shun family, one of the Independent State's 4 great clans. Amongst the 4 great clans of the Independent State, the Shun family was the most unique clan. They relied on their frightening wealth to control the Independent State. Moreover, almost all 3 of the Independent States' great academies had intimate connections with the Shun family. Whether it was Scarlet Flames Academy or Stars and Sun Academy, they were sponsored by the Shun family's wealth. Patriarch Shin's 2 sons and 1 daughter were all separately enrolled into the 3 great academies, and eldest young Master Shun was at Scarlet Flames Academy. Aside from the most terrifying, top-notch mercenaries in the 3 great mercenary academies, the most dangerous people were these 3 big shots from Shin family. Chapter 1707. 1707, several top-tier S-rank mercenaries were at eldest young Master Shun's side, guarding him. Everyone watched as eldest young Master Shun haughtily and pompously swaggered into the mission issuance area with his head high and chest out. Yi Wanwan looked at him, flabbergasted. This procession had quite the flair. Senior Brother Grim Reaper, Zhang Zunyan, suddenly dashed forward and headed for eldest young Master Shun. Before Zhang Zunyan could reach his side, though, one of the top-tier S-rank mercenaries suddenly blocked him and imperiously looked down on Zhang Zunyan with an icy look. Scram! Zhang Zunyan was startled and hastily said, "Senior Brother, you've misunderstood. I'm friends with Senior Brother Grim Reaper." The S-rank mercenary turned to eldest young Master Shun behind him. "Boss! Senior Brother Grim Reaper, do you recognize this C-rank mercenary?" Eldest young Master Shun stared at Zhang Zunyan in contemplation for a moment before asking, "What's your name?" "Senior Brother Grim Reaper, it's me. I'm Zhang Zunyan. You praised me before." "Praised you?" Eldest young Master Shun glanced at him. "Then do you remember how I praised you?" Senior Brother Grim Reaper, you call me Little Smarty," Zhang Zunyan replied honestly after some thinking. "Oh, I remember now." Eldest young Master Shun nodded. "Speak. What do you need?" "Senior Brother Grim Reaper, Didn't you want me to monitor Meng Tian for you earlier? Zhang Zwenyan asked with an obsequious smile. Some time ago, Meng Tian spoke rudely and offended eldest young Master Shun. So the young master had a C-rank mercenary monitor Meng Tian's every move and would deal with Meng Tian after he came back from his mission. Little smarty, where's that fucker Meng Tian? Your senior brother Grim Reaper is gonna fuck him up today. Eldest young master Shun glanced at the top-tier S-rank mercenaries around him. Brothers, that shouldn't be a problem, right? One of the S-rank mercenaries snorted with contempt evident on his face. Senior brother Grim Reaper, don't worry. For a mediocre S-rank mercenary like Meng Tian, I can squash him to death with a finger. Senior brother Grim Reaper, just tell us how you want Meng Tian to die. How could we allow Senior brother Grim Reaper, to personally take action against some nobody like Meng Tian? Wouldn't that be dirtying your hands? Another older mercenary joked. Eldest young Master Shun turned to Zhang Zwenyan. Speak, little smarty. Where's Meng Tian? Take me to him. Senior brother Grim Reaper, Meng Tian died. Zhang Zwenyan said mysteriously. He died. Eldest young Master Shun and the top-tier S-rank mercenaries around him were taken by surprise. How did Meng Tian die out of nowhere like that? What happened? How did he die? Eldest young Master Shun asked curiously. He was beaten to death during the martial competition. That person clearly knew Meng Tian was your prey, Senior brother Grim Reaper, but still killed Meng Tian. Chapter 1709. Eldest young Master Shun glared at the S-rank mercenaries who surrounded Yi Wanwan and reprimanded. What the heck are you thinking about? The S-rank mercenaries all looked at each other baffled. Wasn't it eldest young Master Shun who told them to beat up Yi Wanwan? However, since he said otherwise, they could only retreat and make their way toward little smarty, Zhang Zwenyan, instead. Zhang Zwenyan was stunned and incredulous. What just happened? Why does Senior brother Grim Reaper want them to beat me up all of a sudden? Before Zhang Zwenyan could think further or react, fists started raining down on his face and body. The mercenaries in the mission issuance area were all bewildered. Why was Zhang Zwenyan getting beaten out of the blue? Goddess, I missed you so much, eldest young Master Shin said as he walked toward Yi Wanwan. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. This time, they were certain they didn't mishear. Eldest young Master Shun missed Yi Wanwan a lot. Yep, they heard it right. Senior brother Grim Reaper. Knows Yi Wanwan? He likes Yi Wanwan? Obviously, damn. Is Zhang Zwenyan an idiot? Senior brother Grim Reaper and Yi Wanwan must be old friends. He didn't even look into their relationship before sowing dissent. He seriously deserves to be beaten to death. Zhang Zwenyan was laboriously using his arms to protect his head, wishing nothing more than to bawl. How could he have known that Senior brother Grim Reaper knew Yi Wanwan? Not only that, but he also liked her. Little baby, little fairy. Did you miss me? Eldest young Master Shun gently asked while lovingly looking at Yi Wanwan. Yi Wanwan, there's seriously something wrong with eldest young Master Shin's head. Little fairy, you must have thought about me a lot. I missed you to death. Eldest young Master Shun continued with a smile after a lack of response from her. Yi Wanwan shook her head toward him with a beam. No, you didn't think about me. You must have been overthinking. Eldest young Master Shun. Everyone turned to each other, bewildered. They didn't mishear, right? Eldest young Master Shun liked Yi Wanwan, but Yi Wanwan disliked eldest young Master Shun. Eldest young Master, their Scarlet Flames Academy's Grim Reaper, was reputed to be the man that every young and beautiful woman in the independent state wanted to snag. What's inside this Yi Wanwan's head? Why isn't she seizing such a good opportunity? Eldest young Master Shun is the money god that every woman in the independent state wants to be married to. No, strictly speaking, it's not only women. I'm also willing to be married to him. You guys have lost your dignity because of money. What joke you are. A student snorted. Even if he wanted to marry me, I wouldn't get married to him. Of course, if he's willing, I can marry him instead. The other students. And I thought you had a staunch backbone. Boss, he'll die if we keep beating him. Isn't it enough? Chapter 17:10. An S-rank mercenary stomped on the extremely battered Zhang Zuanyin and asked eldest young Master Shen. Eldest young Master Shen stared at the bruised-faced Zhang Zuanyin and impatiently waved his hand. Toss this little smarty far away. The sight of him angers me. Following eldest young Master Shen's orders, Zhang Zuanyin was carted away by the mercenaries. Goddess, I'll shelter you at Scarlet Flames Academy. If anyone holds any ulterior motives against you, tell me directly, eldest young Master Shen happily said to Yi Wanwan. The onlooking students all couldn't help but shiver as they looked at Yi Wanwan. With Yi Wanwan's face, no one but eldest young Master Shen at Scarlet Flames would hold ulterior motives toward her. Not everyone had tastes as twisted as eldest young Master Shen. All right, I had something to ask you, Yi Wanwan asked seriously. Shen Tianshan was startled. What is it? What rank were you when you first enrolled at Scarlet Flames Academy? She asked. She was very curious about how eldest young Master Shen was promoted to S rank from D rank. The amount of mercenary points needed for promotion from D rank to S rank was frighteningly immense. Me, eldest young Master Shen, was baffled why Yi Wanwan mentioned this. The same as you, of course. I started as a D rank mercenary, he answered a moment later. Yi Wanwan pressed. Then, how did you get promoted to D rank from S rank? Little fairy, this is a long story. It would take a while to tell. I see that you're only a D rank mercenary. How about I take you to do some missions? I guarantee that you could be promoted to between A rank and S rank within a year. Shen Tianshan declared confidently. Yi Wanwan, actually, what I'm asking is, can honor points be bought with money? Yi Wanwan leaned close to him and asked extremely quietly. Eldest young Master Shen furrowed his brows and sized her up before asking contemptuously, do you have money? Yi Wanwan angrily glared at him. No. Oh, if you don't, I actually have a very effective shortcut that can allow you to obtain a large amount of wealth in a short period of time. Shen Tianshan solemnly looked at her. All of the mercenary students in the mission issuance area imperceptibly crowded closer to the duo and perked up their ears. What method? Yi Wanwan was intrigued instantly. Eldest young Master Shen smiled. The method is very simple. Get married to me, Yi Wanwan. The mercenaries. That was the freaking shortcut to become wealthy and amass wealth in a short amount of time that eldest young Master Shen was referring to. Many students were stunned. Was eldest young Master Shen proposing to Yi Wanwan? Everyone originally thought eldest young Master Shen simply saw too many beautiful women in the independent state, so he wanted to switch up flavors. Chapter 17:11. Who would have expected eldest young Master Shen to propose to Yi Wanwan in public like this? Many decent-looking female mercenaries all turned to look at Yi Wanwan with envy and jealousy in their eyes. But I'm uninterested in you, Yi Wanwan truthfully replied. The mercenaries, too freaking thrilling. Goddess, believe in me that feelings can be nurtured. Don't reject me in such a rush. I opened a cafe in Scarlet Flames Academy, so let's have coffee first and carefully discuss the matter with mercenary honor points. Eldest young Master Shen invited her with a chuckle. Then Yi Wanwan and eldest young Master Shen gradually left everyone's field of view. Inside the cafe's super VIP private room, a cup of specially made coffee sat on the table in front of Yi Wanwan, the fragrance assailing her nose. Is there a fast way to obtain mercenary honor points? If you can buy them with money, how much does each point cost? Yi Wanwan asked eldest young Master. Goddess, you can't use money to buy honor points. It's impossible. You also can't transfer honor points, or else I would give all my honor points to you. Eldest young Master Shen answered truthfully. Yi Wanwan sighed helplessly. Although it's unrealistic for someone to obtain a lot of honor points in a short period of time, there is a way, eldest young Master Shen added with a mysterious smile. Yi Wanwan immediately asked, what way? Goddess, it took many nights of contemplation before I thought of this way. Normal people don't have this kind of intelligence. Eldest young Master Shen snickered. Although missions drain time and energy and are difficult, this isn't a problem. Everything is easily solvable as long as you have money. We might be mercenaries ourselves, but we can use our money to hire other mercenaries. We can accept the missions we want, then hire a lot of top-tier mercenaries and assign missions to them to complete for us. It's simple. Yuan was shocked. This kind of crafty maneuver was possible. A mercenary hiring other mercenaries to complete a bunch of mercenary missions for them. After thinking about it carefully, this was indeed a very convenient and feasible method. As long as you had enough money, you could hire many top-tier mercenaries and wouldn't need to be afraid of lacking honor points. That being said, the price of hiring a top-tier mercenary was probably terrifyingly high. Moreover, a mission couldn't be completed in a flash. A conservative estimate to complete an A-rank mission was probably 5 days to 7 days, while an S-rank mission would take longer, so you would have to hire a top-tier S-rank mercenary for a long period of time. How much does it cost to hire a top-tier S-rank mercenary? Yuan sought guidance from eldest young Master Shun. Shin Tianshun deliberated for a moment before replying, "Every top-tier mercenary's price is different. It'd be fine as long as you offer a price that incentivizes them, or else they would just complete the mission themselves. Why would they need to help you do it?" Yuan was contemplative when she heard that. If things were like that, then she could dispatch the entire Fearless Alliance. She would be responsible for accepting missions, and the Fearless Alliance would be responsible for completing the missions. Chapter 17:12. After some consideration, Yuan shelved this option. If she dispatched Fearless Alliance members to do missions for her, it would evoke suspicion, and she couldn't transfer heaps of members from the Fearless Alliance's headquarters. She turned it over in her mind and realized that only eldest young Master Shin's method, hiring a lot of top-tier and high-ranking mercenaries to complete missions for her, was feasible. None of the other methods were workable. As for the hiring fee, it shouldn't be a big problem if it wasn't too high. The Rose of Death had finally started profiting and stopped depending on the Fearless Alliance's money. "Goddess, how about you get married to me? As long as you marry me, I can help you hire as many mercenaries as you want, and you won't have to worry about money at all. I'll take care of it." Eldest young Master Shun beamed at her, flashing his teeth. Yuan glanced at him. "Am I poor?" Eldest young Master Shun smiled abashedly. His goddess was the president of the Fearless Alliance, so she probably didn't lack money. "Also, how did you recognize me?" Yuan asked curiously. Logically speaking, eldest young Master Shun shouldn't be able to recognize her. "Ha ha ha, goddess. I could recognize you even if you turned into ash. What's weird about it?" Eldest young Master Shin smiled. When Yuan kept staring at him intently, he smiled guiltily and said, "Fine. I bought the news from my elder brother-in-law." Elder brother-in-law. Yuan was startled. It's Nameless Nya. Who else could be my elder brother-in-law aside from Nameless Nya? "Goddess, aren't you Nameless Nya's foster sister?" Eldest young Master Shun looked at her. Yuan's lips twitched when she learned it was Nameless Nya who exposed her. It truly did fit her brother's style. There was nothing he wouldn't do for money. "Goddess, my elder brother-in-law is very satisfied with me. Otherwise, he wouldn't divulge your information to me. He even told me you put on an ugly disguise. I've searched through the entire Scarlet Flames Academy and didn't find anyone as ugly, so I recognized you at a glance." Shin Tianshun snickered mischievously. "Am I the ugliest in all of Scarlet Flames Academy?" After some more chatting with him, Yuan left the cafe and returned to the mission issuance area. "Siswan, I heard you accepted that mission related to the defected mercenaries in China." Li Xian suddenly walked toward her from somewhere. "What about it?" Yuan looked at him in confusion. "Siswan, you can't accept that mission. I heard that the elders determined the mission's rank was wrong and haven't confirmed the new rank yet, but it's better for you to not accept it." Li Xian hastily explained. Yuan didn't take it seriously, though. She was about to return to China, so any convenient mission that came by was good. If Li Xian was telling the truth, she could just give up on the mission later. It wouldn't be any loss to her. "Li Xian, help me call top-tier mercenaries in the academy here," Yuan requested. Me? Call those top-tier mercenaries here? Li Xian pointed at himself, bewildered. Aren't you overestimating me too much, Siswan? She thought about it. All right, Li Xian is also a D-rank student like me, so he probably can't even see those top-tier mercenaries. A light bulb went off, and Yuan had Li Xian summon more low-ranking students for her before releasing the news that some missions with high payment had shown up. Then she moved a chair and a stool and perched herself in the mission issuance area. Chapter 1713, Yi Wanwan sat down on the office chair in front of a table with pens and paper lying on it. She watched as S-rank mercenaries kept walking past her, her frustration clear in her eyes. Is my stall not obvious enough? After these high-ranking mercenary students earn enough honor points, they could exchange their honor points for a lot of money in the academy. So Yi Wanwan thought it would be easy as long as the price she offered was higher than the academy's. However, her stall remained vacant. Li Xian already distributed the news, but a few D-rank mercenaries didn't have much influence, so most people probably didn't believe them. As Yi Wanwan was in the middle of shaking her head and sighing, a young A-rank mercenary stopped in front of Yi Wanwan's table and examined it for a moment before asking with a frown, "What's this stall for?" Yi Wanwan instantly became energized by the appearance of a visitor. She surveyed the A-rank mercenary, who had a clean and pretty appearance. "I'm here to issue missions." Yi Wanwan studied the young mercenary. "You issue missions?" The A-rank mercenary looked at her in confusion. "That's right." Yi Wanwan nodded and explained, "You use my name to accept a mission, and I can give you money after you complete the mission. So you're saying that I'll use your name to accept missions, and the honor points upon completion will go to you, but you'll give me money in exchange? Is that it?" The A-rank mercenary asked. "Yes, that's what I meant." Yi Wanwan responded with a nod. To put it plainly, she was exchanging honor points with money. "What price can you pay?" The A-rank mercenary asked her with a frown. Yi Wanwan looked around her before quietly answering, "I can pay 1% more than the academy." 1%? The A-rank mercenary shook his head promptly. "Only 1%? That's not much money. Forget it." The A-rank mercenary turned around to leave. Yi Wanwan hastily called out, "Come back. I'll raise the price." "By how much?" The A-rank mercenary turned around and came back to her. 2%. Goodbye. Wait, 3%. That's enough, right? Yi Wanwan quickly blocked him. "That's too little." He shook his head. Fine. Tell me how much I should increase it by then." Only one person stopped by after half a day, so how could she allow him to leave like that? Senior Brother Grim Reaper also did something similar before, but the price he offered was 300% of the Academy's price, the A-rank mercenary said while looking at her. Yi Wanwan was startled. 300%? I wouldn't have enough even if I sold the Fearless Alliance and the Rose of Death. Then, you should go find Senior Brother Grim Reaper. The corners of Yi Wanwan's lips twitched. She really couldn't pay that amount. She couldn't compete with a filthy, rich young master. This was before. Senior Brother Grim Reaper hasn't done this in a while, so you should at least pay a reasonable price for us to put our life on the line for you, right? The A-rank mercenary responded. Name a price. Yi Wanwan furrowed her brows. 10%. The A-rank mercenary finally named his desired price after a while. How about this? I can only pay 8%. If that's reasonable to you, you can take it. If it isn't, forget it. Yi Wanwan sighed. The market had been completely disrupted by eldest young Master Shan. Chapter 1714 Deal. The A-rank mercenary nodded at Yi Wanwan. With my abilities, I can take on A-rank missions. If you need more people, I can introduce them to you too. Yi Wanwan's eyes sparkled at that. That's great. Lack of manpower was her biggest concern right now. I heard a few imps mentioning that you want to issue missions. In the midst of Yi Wanwan's conversation with the A-rank mercenary, an apathetic man wearing a gold uniform stopped next to her stall. The gold color in this mercenary's uniform was slightly darker than a normal S-rank mercenary's. SS rank. Yi Wanwan was surprised by the newcomer. The gold-uniformed mercenary in front of her had 2 medals on his cuff. One medal indicated S rank, 2 medals, SS rank. Then, I'll leave you guys to talk. I'll go find people now. The A-rank mercenary's imposing aura dissipated as soon as he saw the SS rank mercenary, and he immediately turned to leave. That's right, that's right. Yuan was ecstatic due to the SS rank mercenary. This was her first time seeing an SS rank mercenary since she enrolled in Scarlet Flames Academy. Normal SS rank mercenaries like Meng Tian and Meng Ku probably weren't even worthy of holding an SS rank mercenary's shoes for them. They were 2 completely different levels. I use your name to accept missions, and you take the mercenary points while I take the money. Correct? The SS rank mercenary asked her. Yuan nodded immediately. That's right. Junior sister, I'm sure you also know that you can exchange honor points for money at Scarlet Flames Academy. Unless your price is higher than Scarlet Flames Academy's. Let's drop this conversation, the SS rank mercenary said. I can pay 8% more. Yuan responded quietly. Oh, are you serious, junior sister? The SS rank mercenary's eyes brightened. It wasn't difficult for mercenaries at their level to perform S-rank missions, unlike A-rank mercenaries. Paying 8% above the Academy's price was a considerable amount already. In the past, some sons and daughters of patrician families did something similar, but they only paid 2 or 3% at most. After all, someone like eldest young Master Shun was a completely special case and couldn't be used as a point of reference. Boss, I could get however many mission points you need. Have everyone else scram. What can garbage like the A-rank mercenary I just saw do? The SS rank mercenary said. No wonder he's an SS rank mercenary. His damn mask was flawless. I need about 170 to 180,000. Yuan truthfully answered after a moment of thought. The number presented by Yuan made the mercenary contemplative. Boss, why do you need so many honor points? Relying on me alone to obtain 170 to 180,000 points probably isn't too realistic. Even if I could do it, it would take too long. The SS rank mercenary sighed. He couldn't devour this feast by himself. He continued, however, boss, I have a good relationship with a few other students who are quite strong too. Do you need them, boss? If you do, I can tell them to come here. You just need to pay the same price. Yes, call them here. The more the better. Yuan vehemently nodded with elation in her eyes. Chapter 17:15. The more people she had, the faster she could amass her honor points, and the sooner she could have the headmaster help her recover her memory. Yuan was busy nearly the entire afternoon. Since Yuan was Elder Gong's beloved disciple, most mercenaries trusted her and didn't request a down payment from her. This afternoon, the A-rank mercenary from earlier brought 2 more people to her, while the SS-rank mercenary also brought 2 more. These 6 people helped her accept a load of missions, nearly clearing all of the A-rank and SS-rank missions from the mission board. After settling everything, Yuan headed to Elder Gong's residence to bid farewell. You accepted the mission related to the defected mercenaries in China? Inside the living room, Elder Gong asked Yuan with a deep frown. Yuan replied honestly. Elder Gong looked at her solemnly. Although you accepted this mission, it'd be best if you didn't touch it. It's not as simple as it looks. Master, I'll be careful. If it really doesn't work out, I'll give up, Yuan promised. She wouldn't do something stupid beyond her abilities for honor points. After saying goodbye to Elder Gong, Yuan reported her absence to Scarlet Flames Academy and left the campus the same day. She returned to the Fearless Alliance to make preparations for her trip to China. The Fearless Alliance's headquarters. Yuan arrived at Big Dipper's office and entered without knocking. Big Dipper was holding his laptop and was entirely absorbed in whatever he was looking at without noticing her arrival. Yuan walked behind Big Dipper and asked with a light chuckle, having fun? Sis it's you. Fuck, you scared me. Big Dipper nearly rolled off his chair from fright and hastily stuffed something from the desk into his blankets. Yuan raised her brows. What are you doing? You're acting so sneaky. Big Dipper laughed dryly. Ha! In nothing. Yuan hooked her fingers at him. Take it out. Big Dipper looked miserable. It's nothing, sis foam. Are you watching some R-rated movie? Yuan pensively studied him. Of course not. I'll show you. But you have to keep it a secret, or else it'd be a disaster if I'm discovered. Yuan was puzzled. What was it that made him so nervous? As Big Dipper said that, he cautiously pulled out something from his blankets. This is... Yuan walked up and saw that Big Dipper had hidden a laptop in his blankets. There was nothing strange about a laptop. What was strange was the web page that the laptop was connected to was a web page related to China. The independent state's xenophobic characteristics were extreme, as exemplified by how Yuan had to keep hiding everywhere when she first came since she didn't have a permit. Outsiders were strictly prohibited from entering the independent state, and natives of the independent state weren't allowed to marry outsiders. Marrying an outsider was one of the highest forms of humiliation and would tarnish their bloodline in the eyes of the independent state's natives, especially the powerful figures. The offender would be severely punished and might even drag down their entire clan. Hence, under this kind of restrictive system, it was understandable that people in the independent state couldn't connect to web pages on the outside. If you wanted to browse overseas web pages, you had to use special methods, commonly known as breaching the wall. And breaching the wall was absolutely prohibited in the independent state. Sis phone, aren't we about to visit China? So I wanted to use the internet to understand some of China's culture and people. It'd help me assist you in completing your mission better, sis phone. Chapter 1716 Big Dipper said it so nobly that she probably would have believed it if it weren't for the portrait photos of a female celebrity opened on his browser. Oh, understanding the culture and people. This is how you understand the culture and people? Yuan stared at the female portraits on the webpage. The culture and the people. I'm understanding the people. Nothing wrong with that. Then he ingratiatingly tried to bribe her. Sis phone, I spent a lot of money and effort just to connect to the external network. But you can use it. You can use it. Yuan happened to want to understand the current situation too, so she sat down in front of the laptop. She was standing at a distance earlier, so she couldn't identify the female celebrity. After getting closer, she surprisingly found the celebrity to be someone familiar, and her fingers on the mouse paused involuntarily. Sis phone, this is my goddess. She's pretty, right? Big Dipper enthusiastically introduced her. What surprised Yuan was that this female celebrity was actually Jiang Yanran. On the webpage was a set of portraits featuring Jiang Yanran, and in the photos, Jiang Yanran was dressed sexily and boldly. The level of explicitness was within an acceptable range, and shooting sexy portraits was a normal matter for female celebrities since sexy portraits could be shot classily and artistically too. However, the set that Yuan was seeing was rather mediocre and evidently a bit vulgar. No wonder she didn't recognize these pictures earlier. These photos weren't Jiang Yanran's old style at all. It appeared that after she left, the team started preparing to have Jiang Yanran switch styles. Big Dipper proudly flaunted, "This is my goddess' first time going the sexy route. It's simply a treat for male fans." These photos worked quite well on fans like Big Dipper, so he naturally didn't see what Yuan saw. Big Dipper was joyously enjoying his goddess photos when the screen suddenly switched and Yuan started browsing something else. "My goddess," Big Dipper howled resentfully. Big Dipper breached the wall rather well, and the webpage loaded very fast. After Yuan typed in Gongsu, a lot of related news and gossip articles popped up quickly. Her face darkened as she skimmed the news and gossip articles. After snatching the Best Actor award, Gongsu's reputation in the industry took a complete about-face and became a model of encouragement. However, how long had it been? He already reverted back to his original state. Gossip about romance fluttered in the air, and the identity of his rumored girlfriend kept switching and switching, and even the photos that were shot were horrendous. He recently accepted a film with a very eye-catching topic, and the producers announced that there would be explicit bed scenes in the film in an attempt to madly advertise it and entice curious audiences. Yuan shook her head helplessly with a disappointed expression. As soon as this Gong Su was left unrestrained, he acted like this. Big Dipper disdainfully pursed his lips at the male celebrity in the news article. No way, right, sis phone? You actually like this type? He's obviously a flirtatious pretty boy. I can tell from a single look. Yuan ignored him and continued to search for Luo Chun and Han Xinyu. Han Xinyu's development was rather steady, but what surprised her was Luo Chun. This child actually started dating, and his partner was a newbie in the industry whose popularity had been quite hyped up recently. Big Dipper looked completely unsurprised as he watched his phone, continuing to search for news related to pretty boys. He kept making comments next to her. Chapter 1717. Ah, this one is no good. That one is also no good. They're merely a little good-looking. However, to Sis Phone, this point alone was enough. Sis Phone was seriously Sis Phone. All the guys she liked were good-looking. At that moment, Yuan had tuned Big Dipper out completely and was intently staring at the laptop screen. There wasn't much to comment about Han Xinyu since his strength and quality were laid bare, and Luo Chan was rather steady too, but he did surprise her by getting a girlfriend. As for Gong Su, what was there to say about him? After gaining enormous popularity in China, he started exposing his nature again. He was lazy and more diligent about changing his girlfriends than his undergarments. Moreover, he didn't care about outside criticism and persisted in doing whatever he wanted. If this continued, Gong Su would probably meet his end. The most troublesome one was Gong Su, and his manager likely couldn't control him. While Yuan was browsing this page, a window suddenly popped out. She was instantly caught by the information in the window. It was a live broadcast. Who's this sister? Big Dipper asked curiously as his gaze also landed on the live broadcast. The woman in the broadcast had an extremely formidable aura and was wearing a bright red gown, her skirt dragging on the floor. Her backdrop seemed to be at a banquet. When the woman appeared in her resplendent attire, she attracted everyone's attention instantly. The host ceremoniously began with a grin. Yes. Today, Emperor Sky Entertainment will announce a piece of breaking news. Everyone should know about this piece of news already since it's been wildly spreading lately. That's right. Half a month ago, Emperor Sky Entertainment acquired the Age of the Immortals. Following the host's words, many important figures in the entertainment industry looked at each other in surprise. In the end, everyone stood up and started clapping. I'm very honored to become colleagues with everyone from the Age of the Immortals and happy that all the employees from the Age of the Immortals will join the big family of Emperor Sky Entertainment. I hope we can progress with Age of the Immortals hand in hand and create brilliance. Yi declared with an imposing aura, looking magnificent under the gaze of thousands of people. Great. Thank you for attending the banquet today, President Yi. Next, we will have the CEO of the Age of the Immortals come up. Yao Jiawen, CEO Yao. The host announced cheerfully. A young girl gracefully walked onto the stage. When Yuan saw the girl's face, she was startled. She wasn't a stranger to the girl the host called the CEO of the Age of the Immortals, Yao Jiawen. Back in China, Yuan accidentally bumped into a girl, causing the girl's documents to scatter all over the ground. When she helped the girl pick up the papers, she discovered the girl to be an unpopular manager. She caught a glimpse of her CV and background and discovered that the girl was decently talented but was clumsy at social niceties, so she wasn't doing well in the industry. She cherished this talent, so she had Yao Jiawen apply at the Age of Immortals. As she expected, Yao Jiawen was talented and produced a popular artist at the Age of Immortals. Yuan herself also looked after Yao Jiawen and trained her personally. Now, though, she hadn't been in the independent state for that long. So how did Yao Jiawen become the CEO of the Age of the Immortals? Furthermore, she led the Age of the Immortals to join Emperor Sky Entertainment. Chapter 1718, the live broadcast continued. Yao Jiawen swept her eyes over the audience and chuckled lightly. I'm also very honored to join Director Ye's Emperor Sky Entertainment. If it weren't for Director Yi, the Age of Immortals might not have been able to persevere until now. We're also very apologetic regarding the errors that our previous CEO, Yi Bai, committed. Whenever Joan mentioned the previous CEO of the Age of Immortals, Yi Bai, a commotion erupted in the venue. According to Yao Jiawen's explanation, Yi Bai embezzled all of the Age of Immortals funds and fled from China, erasing all her tracks and causing the Age of Immortals to be paralyzed like never before. And the reality seemed to match her story. Yi Bai had disappeared for several months without any news. May I ask for your opinion on Yi Bai's embezzlement of the Age of Immortals funds, CEO Yao? A reporter asked her. Yao Jiawen nodded and said, "This was an extremely selfish and irresponsible act that's also a crime. Everyone knows that our CEO, Yi Mufan, was arrested due to a charge of homicide. And Yi Bai is Yi Mufan's sister. Their father also has a criminal history and did the same thing. So perhaps this was the materialization of her criminal genes. I'm strongly condemning them here." CEO Yao, it was Yi Bai who single-handedly created the Age of Immortals and led it to brilliant heights. May I ask if you feel a great pressure in succeeding Yi Bai? Yao Jiawen shook her head with a smile. You're correct in that it was Yi Bai who single-handedly created the Age of Immortals and accomplished some achievements. Everyone bore witness to that. However, I don't think Yi Bai's abilities are better than mine. Instead, I think Yi Bai relied more on luck than her personal strength. But I'm different. After Yi Bai embezzled all the funds from the Age of Immortals, I still managed to lead the Age of Immortals out of its predicament. Yi Bai's rise was merely a byproduct of the change in era. From today onward, I can nurture tens and hundreds more Yi Bais. Of course, the Yi Bais that I nurture absolutely won't have any criminal genes. Veins bulged out of Yi Wanwan's forehead, and a cold glint shone from her eyes. I truly raised an ingrate. Big Dipper stared at the live broadcast and said with a vapid expression, China's entertainment industry is seriously messy. Dogs biting dogs and ending up with a mouthful of fur. Sis Feng, what's interesting about this? Get up and let me look at my goddess instead. Yi Wanwan immediately closed the live broadcast page. Fine, great, wonderful. Since you said Yi Bai carried criminal genes, I'll show them legitimate criminal genes when I get back. Stop looking. Go and tell 7 Star to make preparations. We're heading to China immediately. Yi Wanwan ordered coldly. Big Dipper was startled by her words. Sis Foam, so fast. I'm not ready yet. Can't we wait 2 more days? Yi Wanwan nonchalantly glanced at him. Do you think it's better to look at your goddess through the internet or personally see your goddess in China? Ah, Big Dipper looked at her in surprise and slapped his thigh. That's right. Why didn't I think of that? My goddess is in China. Sis Foam, you're seriously too smart. Chapter 1719. However, I'll be honest with you. Your goddess has a boyfriend already, Yi Wanwan said. Oh, I suddenly remember that I still have something to do. Big Dipper replied pensively at once. There are many good-looking girls in China, Yi Wanwan added. Ah, I remember now. I finished taking care of it all already. Sis Foam, I'll go find old 7 now. Big Dipper then immediately left the room. And so, that very day, Yi Wanwan led 7 Star, Big Dipper, First Elder, and Third Elder, who doggedly wanted to tag along, and a group of elites from the Fearless Alliance away from the independent state and began their journey toward China. They needed to transfer on several flights in many countries to get from the independent state to China, making it an extremely complicated journey. However, with the Fearless Alliance's finances, they managed to charter all of the flights, and the entire plane was solely comprised of people from the Fearless Alliance, so it was a fairly leisurely and peaceful journey. No one had visited China before, so they were all very curious about China and completely treated this trip like a vacation. To the elite members of the Fearless Alliance, this trip to China was simply a treat from their president. Several days later, at an airport in China, back then, Yi Mufan and her dad encountered a mishap, and Si Yihan suddenly disappeared, leading to both the Yi family and the Si family considering her as a thorn in their sides. Hence, to avoid bringing harm to her mother, Yi Wanwan had no choice but to leave China temporarily and use that time to investigate her identity. Now, she was finally back. She had only been in the independent state for mere months, but when she returned to China, being in China felt like a lifetime ago. Yet, it also gave her an incredibly familiar and endearing feeling. Yuan pressed the sunglasses on her face before strolling forward. She was returning to the country secretly, so she was wearing a face mask and sunglasses to avoid being recognized by fans. She also slightly altered Seven Star and Big Dipper's looks and made them change into stylish outfits popular in China. Big Dipper was wearing a loose gold and blue baseball jersey with a recently popular large and exaggerated Chinese-style embroidery on the back matched with a pair of distressed jeans and white sneakers. Meanwhile, Seven Star was wearing a simple black hoodie with letters printed on it and sweatpants with red borders. They were both dressed casually and stylishly, but it completely transformed their styles. They made some fine-looking eye candy indeed and attracted a higher percentage of head turns as they walked. First Elder, who was wearing a casual red outfit and looked rather fashionable too, was rolling his suitcase and curiously surveying his surroundings along with Third Elder. To avoid attention, Third Elder let the elite Fearless Alliance members roam freely and went to find a place to settle first. Big Dipper inquisitively looked left and right and fired questions at Yuan nonstop the whole time, while Seven Star stayed focused on the spot ahead of them but instinctively observed the situation around them. Inside the airport hall, Yuan turned and said, "I'm going to the restroom. Wait at that coffee shop for me." Seven Star replied, "All right." Big Dipper exclaimed, Me too." After Yuan and Big Dipper went to the restroom, Seven Star sat down at the coffee shop and waited by himself. He had his eyes closed to rest when he sharply detected gazes settled on him, so his eyes shot open. What he saw was several girls nearby brazenly looking at him. Not only did they not evade his gaze after detecting it, but they also started shrieking in excitement. After the girls chattered for a moment, they actually walked toward him together. Chapter 1727 Star became cautious as soon as he noticed their strange gazes. "Little brother, are you Chinese or Japanese?" One of the bolder girls was the first to strike up a conversation. "Little brother, you're very handsome. Are you an artist? Can I take a photo with you?" "Little big brother, let's exchange our WeChat info." "Little big brother, do you have a girlfriend?" Before Seven Star could probe into these girls' intentions, he was barraged by question after question. What stunned him was that these girls weren't scared of him at all. In the independent state, his reputation was fairly terrifying, so no one had ever disrespected him like this. However, this was China, and he could tell that these girls were defenseless and didn't have any ill intentions, so he didn't attack. Moreover, they came with a mission and needed to keep their identities concealed. They couldn't alert the enemies. Upon seeing a lack of response, these girls actually pressed closer and had wide, excited, anti-smiles on their faces. Some of them even started getting touchy. Within seconds, his face was touched a few times. When Yuan and Big Dipper finished using the restroom, this was the scene that greeted them. Seven Star was surrounded by a group of handsy girls, and his young and handsome face was taut as a bowstring. "Shit, what's going on?" Big Dipper was shocked. Yuan, She glanced at Seven Star's outstanding looks and quickly realized what had happened. To avoid trouble, she specifically wore a face mask. She didn't expect that it would be Seven Star who would encounter a problem in the end. Her profession in China was acting as a manager, after all, so she was naturally used to this kind of situation. She comfortably walked over and squeezed into the crowd, pulling and protecting Seven Star behind her. After blocking their gazes, Yuan smiled at the girls faintly and said, "Sorry, please move aside. My brother isn't a celebrity. He's just a normal person. Please don't scare him." Then she looked at one of the girls and asked, "Can you delete the photos?" The girl looked regretful, but since the sister had spoken, she had to reluctantly delete the photos she secretly took. Although the sister spoke without room for objection, her tone was very gentle and didn't elicit any displeasure from them, so the girl subconsciously did as she said. Yi Wanwan watched the girl sorrowfully deleted photo after photo, leaving behind a profile that didn't reveal 7-star's face. She said, "You can keep this one." The girl's low spirits instantly turned to surprise. "Really? Thank you, thank you." "You're welcome." After finally dispersing the girls, Yi Wanwan sighed in relief. Yi Wanwan turned to the seated 7-star and solemnly advised, "7-star, remember that beautiful boys must learn to protect themselves when they're outside since there are a lot of female scoundrels here. Understood?" When Big Dipper heard this, he reflexively scratched his head. "Are you sure these words are fine coming from you, Sis Foam?" This was the first time 7-star experienced this kind of situation, so it took a while for him to regain his wits. "Understood." On the side, Big Dipper looked anguished. If I knew earlier, I would have stayed behind by myself. Old 7, leave this kind of dangerous thing to me from now on." Yi Wanwan rolled her eyes at him exasperatedly. "Enough nonsense. Let's go." "Sis Foam, where are we going?" Big Dipper asked excitedly. Yi Wanwan stared at the clear blue sky. "I need to make a trip home first." "You can do whatever you want." "Go home? Is this the family you had when you were in China?" "Yes." Due to the ruckus caused by her previous class teacher, Liang Lihua, the Fearless Alliance knew about her situation, and she didn't need to conceal it. Her explanation for 7-star and the others was that she used Yi Wanwan's identity to operate in China, but Yi Wanwan's family didn't know about her true identity. "Sis Feng, we can accompany you," 7-star calmly suggested. Chapter 1721. Before Yi Wanwan could respond, Big Dipper suddenly leaned forward and suggested, "I'm kinda hungry. How about we find something to eat first?" At the mention of food, First Elder and Third Elder also walked over. "All right." Yi Wanwan nodded lightly and led them out of the airport, arriving at a KFC near the airport. "What kind of restaurant is this? I've never seen this place before." Big Dipper and the others followed Yi Wanwan into the store, and Big Dipper examined every detail like a curious child. The Independent State naturally didn't have this kind of restaurant, so they had never eaten from here or seen this place before. "Hey, give me another order of New Orleans chicken wings." "No, 2 orders." As soon as Yi Wanwan and her 4 tag-alongs sat down, they saw a man wearing casual workout clothes with a cap cursorily placed over his head of hair that reached his waist. He was clearly a man, but he was beautiful and stunning like a breathtakingly beautiful woman. "This sister is good-looking, prettier than my goddess." Big Dipper stared at the long, white-haired man, his eyes sparkling. The man expressionlessly marched toward Big Dipper. "Who are you calling a woman?" "Shit, it's a guy." Big Dipper stared at the man before him, stunned. How could there be a man who was this good-looking? "Child, you're a country bumpkin." The man glanced at Big Dipper. "What did you say? I'll give you another chance." Big Dipper stood up instantly and looked at him with a wide grin on his face. "What? You want to play?" The man's lips turned up with a wicked smile. No one saw anything, yet his right hand was already laying on Big Dipper's shoulder. In the blink of an eye, a bang rang out and Big Dipper's figure curved. He dropped back down in his seat. Misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. Suddenly, a girl with an innocently sweet face walked over with a family bucket meal in hand and apologetically looked at Big Dipper and his group. "Go. Let's go. Your wife is about to give birth, and you're here stirring trouble," the girl hastily said to the man. "Blah. So boring." The man yawned and took a bite of the New Orleans chicken wing in his hand before following the girl and leaving the KFC store. Damn. After watching the man leave, Big Dipper allowed sweat to drench his forehead. "What?" 7-star asked as he turned to Big Dipper. "That man. He's too terrifying. Seriously, too terrifying." Big Dipper shook his head. "I've never encountered such a terrifying man in my life. This is probably how I felt back when I faced Piece of Shit." "You're comparing him to Piece of Shit? Did he knock your head somewhere?" Third Elder glanced at Big Dipper. "Piece of Shit wasn't called the strongest in the world for nothing. Why would I lie to you? That man is seriously super terrifying." He only clapped my shoulder, and I felt like my whole body was going to shatter. I even felt like he could easily kill me any second if he wanted to. No, he only needs a finger to do it. Big Dipper took a deep breath. The rest of them met each other's eyes with amused smiles, but didn't take him seriously. Big Dipper's words could only be taken with a grain of salt. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.